Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Hokage. Start with one-click enhancement. Chapter 41. Six-Pillar Flame Array. This Ino Yuya is quite powerful, already very close to the elite Jonin. Urana also felt a little pressure. Boom. The earth exploded, but the barrier was intact. Good. The acting captain shouted aloud for this scene, and then immediately sealed, Earth-style squat technique. The ground under Ino Yuya's feet instantly turned into a swamp, and his calf went in all of a sudden. At this scene, the remaining Anbu members who were still alive immediately attacked Inoue. Lightning-style thunderstorm. Lightning-style thunder wolf roar. Lightning-style. An attack swamped Inoue, but just this kind of attack won't hurt me a bit. Inoue also burst out with thunder and lightning, and violently escaped from the swamp. The attacks of the Anbu members did not cause any harm to him. Flash. But at this moment, a cold light flashed in front of him. Puff. Only a clear tearing sound was heard, and Inoue also had a scarlet wound on his chest. Not far behind him, Urana closed the knife and said in a low voice, "It seems that your defense is not as strong as I thought." "You fool." Inoue couldn't help snarling wildly after hearing the words. Urana's face was slapped. Boom. There was only a loud bang, and the earth exploded a big hole. And Inoue has actually disappeared in place and appeared in front of Urana. He held his palm like a knife, and said murderously, "Lightning-style thunder blade breakthrough." And Urana was still standing there, completely motionless, as if she hadn't reacted at all. How about a good knife? But after all, it's just an ant, I can't even react to this speed, die. Inoue also grinned contemptuously. Hee, isn't it? Urana suddenly raised her head and grinned, and even twisted her body to avoid his attack easily. This guy is not right, hurry up and stay away. Urana's smile gave Inoue a bad feeling. However, before he could do anything, Urana stepped back out of the room early, looking at him. Illusory technique, Jing-ni technique. Urana said indifferently. Inoue also felt a powerful force, which instantly invaded his mind to disrupt his chakra. Can you break free? Let me look forward to it. Urana looked at Inoue, who stopped in place, and thought in her heart after landing. On the way here, the acting captain told them. Inoue has strong ninjutsu, but illusion is relatively inadequate. However, this does not mean that his resistance to illusions is poor. And on the contrary, he has quite a strong resistance to illusions, and most illusions have no effect on him. Therefore, if you are not absolutely sure, don't try it yourself. Because once the illusion has no effect and he gets close to him, it will be a very dangerous thing. However, Urana was confident in the power of her illusion, so she planned to give it a try. Even if it doesn't work, he still has something to prepare. A mere illusion, you want to trap me too? Give it to me. Inoue also yelled out loudly. The lightning on his body turned out to be even more manic, and Urana's illusion attack seemed to have no effect. Even able to resist the impact of Jingani technique, worthy of being a disciple of Hokage, there are really two things. But Urana squinted slightly, and a powerful chakra breath burst out of her body, and said, "Not enough." Boom. The violent thunder and lightning on Ino Yuya's body suddenly became chaotic. Then, it exploded uncontrollably. A figure slammed into the distant residence, splashing a large amount of dust. What happened? All Anbu were puzzled. Why did Inoue suddenly explode? What situation is this? However, before they wanted to understand this matter, a grievance came from the ruins not far away. "Ah, you fool, I will never let you go." A phantom rushed out of the house, rushing straight in a certain direction. That direction is where Urana is. It won't let you succeed. Upon seeing this, the acting captain rushed over and stood in front of the shadow. Not surprisingly, this dark shadow was Inoue, who suddenly exploded. A lot of strength, but Ino Yuya's power really exceeded his expectations, and he was shaken back for several steps. "Those who block me die." Inoue's eyes were full of violence, and he rushed to the acting captain and thundered with a punch. Not good. The acting captain hadn't stood firm yet, facing the attack that suddenly came in front of him. Where and how did he react? He seemed to have seen the dying scene of his internal organs shattered by a punch. "It won't let you succeed, Inoue does." Urana's voice came over, and said calmly, "Six-pillar flame array." A crimson hexagonal barrier protected the acting captain. Boom. This fist shakes the earth and shakes all directions. But the enchantment was calm, and Inoue was counter-shocked, and was surrounded by flames again. What a strong defense. How strong is this guy? Is he really just Kurigakure Class B traitor? When Urana's teammates saw this scene, they couldn't help but exclaim. This is definitely not the level of B-level rebelliousness. Inoue has a dignified A-level rebel, how could he be so embarrassed by a B-level rebel? Ah! From afar, Inoue yelled again. Then, he appeared in front of Urana instantaneously, and blasted Urana's face with a violent punch. Careful. When they saw this scene, the Anbu couldn't help but exclaim, but they were completely too late to rescue them. But in the face of this punch, Urana showed no signs of panic, and slashed away with a knife. Base. The blade fisted against the thunder, and the earth wailed again and exploded. In the sky full of dust, Urana's voice came, lightning-style thunder array. Boom. A thick bucket of thunder and lightning hits the ground. Powerful, not inferior at all, Inoue has also attacked. The earth trembles fiercely, and the dazzling thunder light illuminates the surroundings. Call out. One figure withdrew from the dust curtain, it was Urana. Immediately, the thunder light dissipated. In a big pit, Inoue's right arm was already shrugged, and his mouth was full of blood. The right leg was half-kneeled on the ground, as if he couldn't stand up anymore. All Anbu saw this scene, could not help being surprised. Urana actually hurt Inoue with lightning style. Such a strong lightning style accomplishment. They attacked so many before, but they didn't hurt even the slightest fur of Inoue. Everyone, don't be surprised, should such a good opportunity be wasted. Urana's voice interrupted their surprise, and they quickly attacked Inoue. Taking advantage of the sickness, they have no reason to let go of such a good opportunity. It shouldn't be too dazzling and prominent now. If it were before, Urana would definitely kill this Inoue directly. But now, he won't do that anymore. An amazing record is enough once. No need for a second time. Moreover, he only regarded Inoue as a test of his strength. Now that the goal has been achieved, there is no need to be so dazzling. He has done enough, so let others do the rest. Ah, you fools. This time, Inoue couldn't ignore everyone's attacks anymore. Just like the saying, tiger fell and Pyongyang was bullied by dogs. This is also very appropriate to describe the current Inoue. These attacks that he hadn't looked up to before, at this moment, all of them can severely inflict them. Puff. In the end, he was pierced through the heart with a knife by the acting captain, and his life ended here. Scatter. Pursue other criminals. The acting captain gave an order, and Urana and the others once again pursued the other criminals. Lightning-style emotion wave. Lightning-style thunder formation. Flash. The rest of the criminals are not very strong, and none of them are Urana's all-in-one enemies. Of course, only Urana said the words, are these criminals not strong? Of course not. A lot of special Jonin level. Very troublesome. But no way, Urana is such a freak. As long as it is not a ninja with special abilities. As long as the strength is lower than him, it is a matter of seconds. One trick can't solve it, at most it is a matter of adding a knife. Don't touch that silver-haired Shinigami, otherwise, you will definitely die. Yes, you can never meet that guy. The rest are easy to say, but he can't, that guy is too strong. Because of Urana's strength, his reputation quickly spread among the criminals. For a while, he was like a scourge, shunned by criminals. Silver-haired Shinigami. It's not necessary, everyone. But when Urana herself knew the name, she couldn't help but look weird. Didn't he just kill a few criminals? As for giving him such a prestigious nickname, Hokage, he has been very restrained. Obviously those people are too good at themselves, but blame him for being too strong. What kind of crooked reason is this? Silver-haired Shinigami. It's really appropriate. Behind Urana, his companion looked at him and said, following Jinghong is indeed the right choice. There is no pressure at all. Moreover, it's easy to get the credit. Another person said so, quite pleasant. His words were unanimously approved by everyone. Following Jinghong, the credit is absolutely indispensable. If you want to ask why, because he is so strong. They are very fortunate that not long ago, when the acting captain was in the team, they chose to follow Jinghong. Urana. Who is that team? It's so efficient. Soon, the high efficiency of Urana and his teammates attracted the attention of other teams. That person seems to be Jinghong. Why did he suddenly become the leader of the team? Someone recognized Urana, but he was a little puzzled about him suddenly becoming the captain. It turned out to be him, then there is nothing wrong with it. If it's him, it should be such a high efficiency. Someone said, taking it for granted. This made the person who spoke in the first place quite puzzled, and asked, is that person good? No matter how you look at your expressions, I admire him. Hearing this, an Anbu member next to him replied, Sir, Captain, you may not know when you just came back. That person is called Kira, code-named Jinghong, Kurigakur Class B Trader. However, don't be fooled by his B-level traitorous name, his strength is more than that. A week ago, he defeated Darui by an absolute advantage. A long time ago, when he joined the village in the first battle, one person killed more than 100 enemies. 3 of them are special Jonin, and almost all of them are spikes. The strength is so strong that the younger generation of us at Cloud Shinobi Village can't afford to raise their heads. By the way, he is the same age as Darui, the future can be expected. Hearing what he said, the Anbu team leader couldn't help being surprised. This record is quite strong. Suddenly there is such a talent in the village. It's interesting. It seems that I can't find a talent in Cloud Shinobi Village. After thinking about it this way, he got rid of the distracting thoughts and went on chasing the criminals. He can't lose to young people either. Now, Urana, who is suppressing the criminal rebellion at Cloud Shinobi Village, does not know that in Kurigakur, far away, someone doesn't want him to live well. In the Great Elder's room. A spy at Cloud Shinobi Village. Just so, I'm worried that I won't have a chance to clean up that guy. This opportunity is coming soon. Go, let me, inadvertently, reveal the details of that fellow Urana to the distinguished guests of Cloud Shinobi Village. Remember, don't let him see that this is the news we deliberately revealed, you must let him go through some effort. Yuan Long ordered the black Anbu in front of him. Yes, Anbu in black immediately retreated, and Yuan Long smiled triumphantly. Ha ha ha, Terumi Mei, now, you should also experience the pain of losing a loved one. I believe that when you hear the news of Urana's sacrifice, your expression must be quite exciting. Also, you are too close to some of the 7 ninjamen. It seems that you are indeed ill-intentioned. HMPH, I won't make you wish, as long as I'm still in Kurigakur for one day, you don't want to turn the sky over. This Kurigakur, Yuanlong has the final say. But what Yuanlong can know, Terumi Mei, as the secret controller of Anbu, how could he not know? Yuanlong, I won't let you do little tricks, don't think it's bad for Xiaoyi. Terumi Mei immediately dispatched Anbu to keep track of Tianxin and others from Cloud Shinobi Village. In case someone enters halfway, destroying her good deeds with Urana, and letting Urana's identity leak. But this time, Terumi Mei really underestimated Yuanlong. Of course, this is also related to her recent busy contact with various people with lofty ideals and lack of focus. The Anbu surveillance personnel she sent out were countered by Yuanlong's Anbu. After Tianxin and others obtained Urana's true identity information, they still did not react, and found no abnormalities. And when Terumi Mei discovers the abnormality, and then goes back to remedy it. Urana's situation in Cloud Shinobi Village has become quite dangerous. Of course, Urana's situation has become dangerous. However, looking at the information in his hand, Tianxin couldn't help but feel a little shocked, so that his pupils shrank sharply. It really made Raikage-sama. Kira really is an undercover agent. Tianxin's mood at this moment is quite complicated. On the one hand, I can't believe it. The Kira who has a superb lightning style is actually the white cold light Urana, 4th Raikage's guess is not wrong. A person possesses 2 extremely superb escape techniques, Urana, he actually did it. This talent is really terrible. On the one hand, it is fortunate. Fortunately, I discovered this problem in time, which can reduce the loss of Cloud Shinobi Village to the greatest extent, and it is not in vain that he has been lurking around Kurigakur for so long. Go back, and prepare for the return journey. Be fast, and you can't delay it for a moment. Tianxin put away the information, his eyes had returned to calm, even cold. He said in his heart, Jinghong, since you are Kurigakur's undercover, then I'm sorry. Since you can't use it for my Cloud Shinobi village, you have to get rid of you, lest you become the enemy of my Cloud Shinobi village. Originally, he admired Urana's strength and thought he would be the mainstay and backbone of Cloud Shinobi village. But that is based on the position that Urana is the person of Cloud Shinobi village. But now, they are completely hostile, so there is no room for him to have any personal affair. In Cloud Shinobi village, the arrest of criminals is almost over. But Urana suddenly felt a chill for no reason. The chill made him feel quite ominous, as if a catastrophe was imminent. Where does this feeling come from? It's a bit unpleasant feeling. Urana rubbed her hands, and the weather in Cloud Shinobi village, which has been more than April, is still cold. Jinghong, what's the matter? This won't work. Beside Urana, his companion couldn't help joking when he saw this. It's not like you. I remember when you followed Captain Tianxin to perform the task, but Captain Tianxin almost didn't make a profit. How can we be so generous today that we have so much credit? The other person looked at Urana, pretending to frown, jokingly. In the pursuit of criminals this time, Urana's performance was still positive. But if compared with his first task, it really can be said to be the extreme of negativity. According to the efficiency of his first mission, the mission might have ended half an hour ago. Where can I consume this half an hour more? Of course, in accordance with the nature of the first mission, Urana will hardly allow the rest of the team to have a chance. Hey, everyone is joking, isn't that young and ignorant just now? How can someone who behaves like that, thinking about being popular, and letting his companions get nothing, is wrong? Urana shrugged and said helplessly. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect Jinghong you would like this one too. However, your enlightenment has turned quite fast, I didn't resist you so much at first. Yes, that's right, that's right. Jinghong, how can a long-term development of being out of gregariousness? It's just. Urana laughed at these words of these people. The reason why he was suddenly so humble was of course not because he wanted to be in a group. It was caused by what Hokage said. Although fourth Hokage hasn't caught the flaws for the time being, I haven't revealed any flaws. But as the saying goes, I do too many mistakes, I should still keep a low profile. Otherwise, it may be revealed because of a careless moment. Furthermore, Tianxin suddenly went out on a mission at this time, which is suspicious. Urana just thought of this by accident. What tasks can you go for more than a week? Reconnaissance mission. Thinking of what Hokage said to herself and her own guesses, Urana had a bad guess in her heart. Maybe the goal of Tianxin's investigation mission is Kurigakure. It seems that the pace of becoming stronger still needs to be accelerated. I don't know why, from just now, there is a faint anxiety lingering in his heart, making him quite suspicious. I hope everything is not what I imagined. Otherwise, it's really not so good. After thinking this way, Urana breathed a sigh of relief, glanced at her companion and said, "Let's go, meet the deputy captain." As soon as he finished speaking, before he could act, he suddenly felt an unprecedented sense of crisis. Urana suddenly looked like an ice seller, with a look of panic on her face. Looking at his companions, they all stood motionless as if they had lost their souls, their faces full of horror. Urana couldn't help but looked up in horror, and saw a small black meteorite falling precisely toward his position. Tail, Beast Jade. Urana's heart twitched suddenly, her entire body was violent, and her back was completely wet with cold sweat. There seemed to be billions of junks falling on his body, making his limbs a little disobedient. Why does something like Tailed Beast Bomb suddenly appear here? Urana wants to scold her, the opponent's strength is already beyond the limit. He had no time to think about which Tail Beast Jinchuriki's masterpiece was. He only knew that if he didn't take any measures, he would definitely die. 6-Pillar Flame Array. Urana mobilized all the chakra in his body, created an enchantment and wrapped herself in it. You have to hold on. He said this prayer in his heart. He has no ability to save others now, because he might even have difficulty protecting himself. Boom! The tailed beast bomb exploded, just a few hundred meters in front of Urana, and it exploded. Suddenly, the earth shook and the mountains shook. The thunderous sound exploded in all directions, and the violent air wave engulfed the power to destroy everything and swallowed everything within the scope of the explosion. Aha! Urana felt like $1 billion force hit the barrier, and the terrifying power instantly cracked the barrier. His head was buzzing, it was a spurt of blood, and he was deaf in both ears. Then, the barrier was directly broken. There was already a mess of ruins in front of Urana. Behind him, the violent air wave is still raging, and there are countless ninjas engulfed in them, life and death unknown. Wow! As soon as she stood up, another huge coercion came, causing Urana to spout another mouthful of blood. Boom! I saw a giant cat demon burning with azure flames, with two tails behind his back, and fell heavily 500 meters in front of Urana. A scorching breath instantly enveloped the surrounding hundreds of meters. Urana felt like she was in a steamer, quite uncomfortable. It turned out to be the second tail. Hey, why did the second tail be released? Isn't it said that it was sealed in Jinchuriki's body, and that Jinchuriki was also carefully guarded? Urana thought with a numb scalp. Although cage-level powerhouses can basically clean up most of the tail beasts. But for ninjas below cage level, the tail beast is still a terrible enemy, a symbol of disaster. Roar! Niu Matabi suddenly roared wildly, and his eyes were filled with excitement and ferociousness. Then, its mouth began to gather yin and yang chakra. Then, turned into a violent and hot light cannon shot out. It's a virtual dog cannon. Boom, boom, boom. Niu Matabi is madly sabotaging in Cloud Shinobi Village, and the pleasure in his eyes is getting stronger and stronger. Roar! While destroying wildly, the second tail roared wildly, and the voice was full of pride. After so many years, it is finally free. After being imprisoned for so many years, it is time for it to release the resentment in its heart. Suddenly, there was a steady stream of panic and screams from the entire Cloud Shinobi Village. There are broken walls and flames everywhere. The Cloud Shinobi are not to say that they are dealing with the second tail, it is difficult to save their lives under the second tail's attack. Not good. The monster Orway has been released again. Hurry up and invite Master Raikage. Of course, there are also more powerful ninjas who can fight, and can respond while issuing orders. Allah, I should stay away and watch the show. I don't want to fight against monsters of this level. Urana naturally heard the shouting from not far away, so she hurried to find a place to hide. Although he is confident to save his life and can cause harm to the second tail, he does not want to get involved. But sometimes, it's not that you can stay out of it if you want to stay out of it. No, Urana has just stepped out, and hasn't found a suitable place to start the silent art circle and plan to eat melons. Behind him came the voice of the acting captain. Jinghong, you are fine. Come on, go with me to deal with Niue Matabi. The voice is rushing and beyond doubt. There were other Cloud Shinobi Village Anbu elites who came with him, and they all looked at them together. To be honest, when I was stared at by so many eyes, he knew that his plan to watch the fire from the shore had completely failed. Not to mention, being stared at by so many eyes really makes your scalp numb. He couldn't help sighing in his heart, but his face was pretending to be happy, and said, I am relieved when I see you, the captain. My strength alone is too weak. And when he said this, quite a few people were looking at him. Are you the Jinghong in Tianxin's mouth? The strength is really good. I hope I can fight alongside you when I have the opportunity. My name is Feiyu. Standing behind Deputy Captain Urana, Anbu spoke with a magnetic voice. It's so young, there is finally one more like-looking person among the younger generations of Cloud Shinobi Village. It was another person who spoke. Urana didn't know what his face was. However, this figure was quite big, short and squat. Okay, now is not the time to talk about this, stop Niu quickly. We must support the arrival of Lord Raikage. It was a tall man who was talking, his eyes were extremely cold, he carried a long knife behind his back, and his breath was comparable to Kakashi. Then, it's going to be on. Little baby, it's okay, let's not be scared and have soft legs. The chubby Anbu man joked. I don't think it should be. Although it's not as good as your seniors, you should still be able to do your part. Urana resisted the reluctance in her heart, said. He knew that if he didn't try his best, he would have to fight seriously. Otherwise, facing an enemy like the tail beast, he will definitely die. Although he didn't want to be too dazzling, he didn't dare to mess around in front of Xiaoming. Two tails, that's it. After Feiyu and others joined, they scattered and stood apart. Then, they began to seal the seal one after another, lightning-style 12-pillar thunder prison. A huge thunder and lightning cage, wrapped towards the second tail. Of course, the second tail wouldn't just grab it like this, raising his arm and shooting frantically. Don't try to succeed, lightning-style Lefasuo. Feiyu, a large piece of thunder and lightning appeared on his body and turned into 4 ropes, tied to the second tail. At the same time as the rope flew away, Urana's acting captain was also in Jian, his eyes resolutely said, lightning-style thunder. Boom! A roar of thunder and lightning fell down, hitting Rui's back with a loud noise, causing Rui to roar in anger. However, before it moved, 4 lightning cords wrapped around its body. Then, a huge cage trapped it inside. Yoshi, the first step is complete. Seeing this scene, Feiyu exclaimed in excitement and heaved a sigh of relief. Then, he Jayan again, and shouted, lightning-style thunder dragon roars. Everyone, move the second tail out of the village and can't fight with him in the village. The loss is too great. When the words fell, the cage shrank instantly, and the thunder dragon he released also grabbed the cage in one bite, and rushed to the direction outside the village. Everyone, keep up. Feiyu hadn't finished saying this, but the second tail who saw him once again sprayed an extremely hot, and extremely bright virtual dog cannon. Careful, the acting captain couldn't help exclaiming at this scene, but there was no time for rescue. Enchantment technique 6-pillar flame array. Urana's voice suddenly came. Just before the virtual dog cannon roared, a hexagonal red enchantment wrapped the flying fish in. If possible, Urana didn't want to make a move. But who made this virtual dog cannon come directly in his direction? If he doesn't save flying fish, he won't be pleased. Boom! The sky-shaking flames rose into the sky, and the earth wailed fiercely and trembled violently. The violent wind and waves made Urana and everyone unable to open their eyes. But fortunately, the power of the virtual dog cannon is not as terrifying as the tailed beast bomb after all. Therefore, Urana's enchantment successfully blocked the blow. Good. Seeing this scene, the acting captain couldn't help but yelled out loudly. He thought Feiyu was dead. I didn't see that you still have this ability. Good. Very good. Now we are more confident. This came from the tall Anbu's mouth. He said to Urana, the defense is up to you, and we are responsible for the attack. Go ahead and get Niu out of the village together. After all, a group of them rushed to the second tail again. It has escaped from the thunder and lightning cage. Thank you, kid, I owe you my life. Flying Fish was still full of horror. He thanked Urana and joined him. It's a mess, alas. Urana sighed helplessly. Why, the more she wanted to stay out of the matter, the more things came to him. Oh my god, I don't want to be so dazzling. How can you let me mix in Cloud Shinobi Village in the future? Needless to say, after this battle, he will definitely become famous again in Cloud Shinobi Village. At that time, more people will know him. This is not a good thing for him, and it may increase the difficulty for him to gather information. Although he collects information for Terumi Mei and his future development, it has nothing to do with Mizukage Yagura. But now I can only bite the bullet. Hope it won't make me more dazzling. Urana sighed and followed, taking charge of defense tasks. I have to say that the enchantment technique is very useful. Chakra consumes moderately and is super powerful. Ha ha ha, it's so refreshing. I have never fought such a comfortable battle. It turns out that we can be so hard-hearted in the face of tailed beasts. With the addition of Urana to take charge of the defense, Feiyu completely let go of the fight. Not to mention, it really gave them a slight upper hand, and Niu was really a little bit embarrassed by them. Seniors, don't let him have the opportunity to release Tailed Beast Bomb. Otherwise, we'll really finish playing. I can't stop that thing. Urana's face was a little pale and said that this was due to excessive consumption. Even if he changed the 6-pillar flame array to the Yan array wall to reduce unnecessary wear and tear. However, he was a little overwhelmed to defend every 10 seconds on average. The chakra of the tailed beast is much better than him. Ha ha ha, don't panic, we can definitely win. Our support is here, the Jonin in the village have already come. There is a defensive person in there, you can breathe a little relieved. Flying Fish looked behind Urana and said. Hearing what he said, Urana couldn't help looking behind him, but the group of Cloud Shinobi that he saw came towards here. Darui, Urana's loser, is among them, and he is still a small team leader. You can be counted here, you are late this time. Feiyu joked to the crowd of Cloud Shinobi. Sorry, it took a while for two S-class criminals to escape from the prison. At the front of the crowd of Cloud Shinobi, a man with a weird hat, a calm face and firm eyes opened his mouth. His name is Rada, Hokage guard. Urana remembers that this man died in Konoha's 56th year in the original work, which is a year later. The cause of death was that Eight Tails got out of control. Okay, stop talking nonsense, Tutai, the defense is left to you and Jinghong. You are here just right. With you and Jinghong, we can attack without any scruples. It was the tall Anbu who was talking, not at all procrastinating. Hearing what he said, the Cloud Shinobi named Tutai couldn't help but glance at Urana in surprise. It's not easy to get the approval of Fighting Wolf, the tall Anbu. This guy never approves of people easily. Urana doesn't seem to be so mature, yet she still has this ability. Eye opened. Then please advise, senior. Before Tutai could speak, Urana had already spoken. Tutai, that is, the uncle in the original book who helped Naruto fight Third Hokage, possesses the lava-style blood inheritance boundary, and can release rubber attacks. Even Third Hokage's Hell Kingsho can defend, so there is no problem with resisting the tail beast's attack. Then please advise more. Tutai is an unassuming person, and he is more easygoing. Then, let's go together. Get ready for the sealing class. Following the order of a certain team leader, Fighting Wolf, Darui and others rushed to the second tail together. Urana and Tutai also followed suit, keeping track of everyone's movements and providing them with timely defense. Roar, boom. Two tails are indeed powerful, but they are still a bit overwhelmed by the simultaneous attacks of most ninjas in Cloud Shinobi Village. In the midst of crazy thunder and lightning, flames, water waves and other attacks, the two tails also began to lose strength. Everyone, first reduce the two tails' range of action, take the opportunity to contain him, and then restrain him, trauma. Finally, the sealing team will seize the opportunity to seal it, and I will bring it back to the sealed place. Someone is deploying combat strategies to unite all the Cloud Shinobi present. Urana glanced at the man, but saw that it was a man who looked a bit like Darui. But it has red hair with a gold tattoo on his right arm. Behind him was a big red bottle with strange lines carved on it. It's Surui-sama. Ha ha ha, Lord Surui is here, now it's steady. The second tail, your end is here. The crowd of Cloud Shinobi became excited and their morale boosted. Urana couldn't help but glance at this man named Surui, a little surprised. This is a Cloud Shinobi that he has no impression of. Do you use the amber bottle as a weapon? Why is there no information about him in the original book? It's Cloud Shinobi Village, as expected, there are still some great people hidden. Urana thought so, surprised in her heart. The strength of this Surui is definitely the strongest ninja he has ever seen in Cloud Shinobi Village. The strength is still above Tienshin, maybe only below 4th Hokage, Eight Tails Jinchuriki. Roar, Matabi seems to know this Surui too. Seeing him appear, my emotions suddenly became excited. Then, with a loud roar, a terrifying virtual dog cannon spouted towards Surui. Amber bottle, take it. Facing the surging virtual dog cannon, Surui did not retreat but instead moved forward. He took the bottle behind and aimed at the virtual dog cannon. Then Jayan even took this virtual dog cannon in lightning-style Sky Thunder Fury. After accepting the virtual dog cannon, he once again set up seals, pointing to the sky. Then, the sky suddenly brightened, and a black thunder and lightning turned into a blue dragon head, and it slammed on Erway's body. Boom! The power of this thunder and lightning is really terrifying, it exploded the earth, and the two tails were smashed to the ground with anguish. After seeing this scene, other Cloud Shinobi certainly won't let go of this good opportunity and launched an offensive one after another. The first person to bear the brunt is Darui. Lightning-style Black Madara is bad. The weaker thunder and lightning rolled out, turning into a roar of a cheetah and rushed away. Suddenly, Erway let out a painful voice again. Lightning-style Emotion Wave. Lightning-style Thunder Wolf. Lightning-style Thunder Eagle. Lightning-style. The thunder and lightning in the sky completely wrapped Erway in, causing it to make continuous screams, completely under the wind. Seeing this scene, the sealed ninja who was waiting for an opportunity immediately dispatched. In a flying seal scroll, Niu was sealed like this. Receive. Finally, the sealed two-tail was put into Surui's amber purifying bottle. After the problem of the tail beast was resolved, the internal turmoil in Cloud Shinobi Village was almost resolved. Then, they returned to their respective headquarters positions. The vigilant is responsible for vigilance, the evacuate is responsible for evacuation, and the repairer is responsible for repair, and each performs its own duties. It's really not easy to challenge a ninja village, even the existence of the tail beast can only regret defeat. After returning to her guard post, Urana said with emotion in her heart. It is also a blessing to Matabi. Urana, who had performed quite prominently, suddenly didn't have that amazing record because of the sudden appearance of the tail beast. This made Urana breathe a sigh of relief. Too prominent record is really not a good thing for him. After the change of guard, Urana started swinging his sword again. Jinghong, what's the matter? It seems that your expression is a little unhappy. Is it unwilling to be robbed of the limelight? At this time, one of his teammates came over and said to him jokingly. Hey, nothing, you have thought about it. Urana is too late to laugh, how can he not be reconciled? But the more he denied it, the more this person felt that Urana was unwilling. And this scene also fell into the eyes of the acting captain. He opened his mouth and said, if you are not reconciled, go and work harder to get more credit. What's the use of just sulking here? Obviously, he also felt that Urana's expression was an expression of his unwillingness. In this regard, Urana could only give a wry smile in her heart. Why are everyone so stubborn? Does he seem to be such an easy and unwilling person? 2 days later, Cloud Shinobi Village has almost recovered its stability and restoration work has begun. And the team that Urana is in has also ushered in several new members. In the process of fighting the second tail, that tailed beast bomb took the lives of more than 50 Anbus, leaving more than 200 Anbus each with varying degrees of trauma. As for the Urana team, there were only 2 injured and 8 dead. It was the team with the most casualties among all Anbu teams. For the newcomers, Urana greeted them, and then started to swing the sword again. It looks a little uncomfortable. In this scene, someone smiled and explained, don't pay attention to him, this guy has such a character, he doesn't like talking. However, he is definitely a reliable partner. It would be a blessing to be able to join him on missions out there. After listening to these words, the attitude of the new players towards Urana has become a little more friendly. However, these people are temporarily questioning his strength. While doing self-repair at Cloud Shinobi Village, in Hokage's office. I actually have a lot of elites in Cloud Shinobi Village, isn't it? It's not as unbearable as it looks. Fourth Hokage said with a satisfied smile on his face watching the chaotic report this time. Because of his timely arrival, Eight Tails Jinchuriki Killer Bee's desire to slip out of the village was ruthlessly destroyed. Niu Matabi was also imprisoned in the Dragon Cave, and the loss was still within an acceptable range. However, this Kira's record is really amazing. That guy can be so handy against Inoue, where is his bottom line? Fourth Hokage looked at the report record of acting Captain Urana, couldn't help but squinted his eyes and thought in his heart. It was so handy against Darui, he thought it was already very strong. But I didn't expect that even Inoue could handle an S-rank criminal with such ease. How strong is he going all out? Fourth Hokage really wants to know. Then, he picked up the report records of other Anbu team captains. After taking a second glance, his eyes widened suddenly, and he even took a breath. Even the virtual dog cannon can resist. He still has this defensive power. This guy is really not easy. He is absolutely impossible to be a B-level rebel. How could a B-level rebel have the ability to defend against a virtual dog cannon? Fourth Hokage began to feel that his suspicion of Urana was correct. This guy is definitely not easy. But after thinking about it, Fourth Hokage suddenly calmed down again, but in case he was in Kurigakure with this strength, he suddenly became stronger after Cloud Shinobi Village came. This possibility is not impossible, it does make all of this reasonable. But, is there really such a fast growth rate? Is there any blood in his blood that can't reach the limit? He can only think of a way to make his strength become stronger quickly in a short period of time. As for opening up, he has no such concept. He didn't know that Urana was a gangster. Forget it, wait for Tianxin to come back, I will know if I have his information. He did not intend to take any measures against Urana until he had obtained certain information, so as not to have a counterproductive effect. One day later, Tianxin returns. After receiving the news of Tianxin's return, Fourth Hokage was overjoyed and summoned him immediately. How is it? Have you found any very useful news? Fourth Hokage looked at Tianxin very much and asked. Master Hokage, your hunch is correct, there is a problem with this Kira. Tianxin's first sentence made Fourth Hokage stunned. Then, his eyes sharpened instantly, and he said, what's the situation? Hearing the words, Tianxin took out a scroll from his arms and handed it to Fourth Hokage, saying, Master Hokage can see it by himself. Fourth Hokage took it immediately. After opening it for half a minute, an astonishing thunder and lightning suddenly burst out of his body. The case table exploded directly, and even the ground was cracked. What a Kira, so good. He roared in a low voice, if I hadn't been alert, I might have been fooled by you. He looked at Tianxin, his eyes were quite cold and said, he will leave it to you, take some good hands to prevent him from escaping, I am waiting for you in Anbu prison. Tianxin nodded when he was about to leave, and when he was about to leave, Fourth Hokage said sternly, if he refuses, he can kill on the spot, you won't keep your hands, right? Tianxin said in a rather cold tone. Of course, Cloud Shinobi Village absolutely does not allow this kind of scourge to exist. Then, he left. White cold light, Kira. HMPH, it's no wonder that you are so similar, it turns out that you are the same person. Good means, it's not easy to be searched by the intelligence department twice. Fortunately, the old man has kept his eyes on you, otherwise, I really don't know what serious consequences it will cause. This is the end, the old man will never let you do anything. I'm sorry for Cloud Shinobi Village. Fourth Hokage's gaze was so low. On the other side, Urana's house. He is sitting cross-legged on the bed, doing meditation with his eyes closed. The strength attribute enhancement is completed. Congratulations to the host for achieving the Jonin Invincible achievement and winning the title of Talented Person. Listening to the voice in her head, Urana remained slightly surprised. He asked, System, don't you mean that there are no rewards for achievements? What is the prestige charm? You slap yourself in the face, it's so loud. System, the system will be updated iteratively at any time, please refer to the current system functions for host. For the explanation of the system, Urana just wanted to say, dead duck with hard beak. Just when he just got up from the bed and was about to set out to report on Anbu. Boom boom boom. There was a knock on the door suddenly, and Urana couldn't help being a little surprised. Who would knock on his door? He opened the door and saw his captain Tianxin standing outside. The four Anbus behind him each held one side, blocking all the way out of Urana. After seeing this scene, Urana's heart suddenly sank, which was very wrong. The 5 people of Tianxin were obviously here to catch him, so they blocked his way out. Am I exposed? I shouldn't show any flaws. An ominous premonition surged into Urana's heart, and he asked, Captain Tianxin, is this? Tianxin replied quite coldly. Jinghong, I want to know something about Bai Hangguang, let's go with us. I hope you don't do anything unusual, otherwise, it may bring your life in danger. After hearing this, Urana's heart sank again. Tianxin's words gave him a strong feeling that his identity had been exposed. But, how could it be exposed? Urana was puzzled. And, what should we do now in this situation? Escape. He glanced at Tianxin himself and the 4 Anbus behind him, and couldn't help dispelling this idea in his heart. All Jonin level, the chance of escape is too small. But following him is tantamount to seeking a dead end. Urana can't guarantee at all what is waiting for him in front of him. Die, or is it seriously injured? Jinghong, don't struggle too much. Please. Urana fell into deep thought and stood still. Tianxin's tone became colder and even took a step forward. Cut, fight, just bet Hokage hasn't fully determined my identity. If you escape at this time, you will definitely be chased by the ninjas of the entire Cloud Shinobi Village. I don't have the ability to escape. Urana clenched her fist secretly, thinking decisively in her heart. Since there is a dilemma, it is better to ride the wind and waves to move forward, maybe there is still a moment when the will of the sky will be bright. Captain Tianxin, let's go. Urana stepped forward, and the moment she walked out of the door, her hands were immediately controlled. Don't play tricks, otherwise, I don't guarantee that they won't kill you. Tianxin glanced at Urana, her eyes slightly complicated. In all fairness, he didn't want to accept this fact at all. But the facts are often not as he wishes. Anbu, the intelligence class prison. Kurigakure class B rebel Kira, good at lightning style, swordsmanship. I tried to assassinate him because I was dissatisfied with Mizukage's rule, but he defected to Cloud Shinobi Village because of failure. Fourth Raikage looked at Urana and said without a trace of expression. Without waiting for Urana to speak, he said again, Kurigakure Elite, brother of high-level Terumime, White Cold Light Urana. At the order of Master Mizukage, Kira sneaked into Cloud Shinobi Village to search for the news. It took half a year. In order to ensure a smooth entry into Cloud Shinobi Village, the mnemonics technique that can last for half a year is engraved in my mind. And use special techniques to change Urana's voice, body shape, and make it another person. In order to make the infiltration successful, Urana herself took pains to change the way of fighting and became a lightning-style user. Even in order not to be suspected of infiltrating smoothly, I did not hesitate to let Anbu chased by Kurigakure be ruthless, so that his life was almost hanging by a thread, really dead. What a beautiful job, White Cold Light. Unexpectedly, you, whom I kept talking about, actually came to me. Listening to Fourth Raikage's words, Urana's heart suddenly sank to the bottom, chilling to the bones. He could feel his heartbeat speeding up wildly. He could also feel his lips trembling. His pupils are shrinking, cold sweat is dripping. His head was buzzing and blank, and he couldn't think of any way to deal with the crisis before him. Before coming here, he still had some luck in his heart. Maybe Fourth Raikage didn't fully know his identity. Maybe he can still fool around. But now, it turns out that things have completely exceeded his expectations. An unprecedented bad situation came before him. Calm down, you must be calm. If you don't calm down, you will be completely finished today. You must face it calmly, calm down. Urana kept telling herself this in her heart. If you calm down and think about it, there may be a glimmer of life. Not calm, absolutely dead. What's wrong? I got it right, White Cold Light. So I can't speak. Urana didn't speak. Fourth Raikage put her breasts in front of her, and said playfully. Urana looked up at Raikage and said, Master Raikage, do you really think I am White Cold Light? The evidence is solid, what else can I doubt? Fourth Raikage raised his brows and said unconfirmed. Urana, where does the evidence come from? Raikage-sama trusts so much. You are not afraid that it is fake. Fourth Raikage, this is the news that I sent Tianxin to sneak into your Kurigakure. Naturally, there can be no fakes. Hearing this, Urana was shocked and said, it's from the great elder Yuanlong. If it comes from him, it doesn't have any credibility. I used to be Terumime's subordinate, and it was his target. For this trick of killing people with a knife, don't be fooled by Lord Raikage. He said in his heart. Tianxin suddenly disappeared, and he really sneaked into Kurigakure. It's a good way to hide from the sky. After hearing what he said, Fourth Raikage laughed again. What are young people doing so excited? Is it just a matter of using the knife to kill people? Just use the facts to speak. There are 2 ways to remove the 2 seals on you on this information. Just let me see if you really are White Cold Light. If yes, you are dead. If not, I apologize to you, and never doubt you again. Fourth Raikage looked at Urana like an ant. Then, he cast a look at Tianxin behind Urana, and the latter immediately began to seal the seal, saying, write the seal of Yan, untie. Upon seeing this scene, Urana couldn't help being terrified, and her pupils instantly shrank to a minimum. What does it mean to be driven to desperation in an instant? This is it. Anything he said now is blank. No use. In the face of absolute facts, no matter how hard he struggles, it is useless. Urana has never been so desperate since she met this world. System, help me. Seeing that Tianxin's hand was about to reach him. He is about to show his true shape soon. As if holding the last straw, he screamed wildly in his heart. Time seems to have stopped at this moment. Urana swallowed wildly, just looking at Tianxin's hand, resting on his body. At this moment, his heart directly touched his throat. The air around Urana hummed. But he hasn't changed anything. How is it possible that there is no change at all? At this scene, Fourth Raikage yelled in disbelief. After hearing this, Urana was so stunned for a moment. Then, I almost fell to the ground because of the thrill just now, and my heart was full of surprises. Unexpectedly, it has not been unlocked, that is to say, the system has really taken action. He didn't know how to describe his feelings. Neither is happiness nor fear. In short, this feeling is hard to describe. At this time, a system of cold voice came from Urana's head. This special operation consumes 1W of strengthening points. Host can place an order with this system again if necessary. Now Urana can be sure that the system has really taken action. He couldn't help but let out a long sigh of relief. I don't know why, as soon as the system is released, he feels at ease in his heart. But at this moment, his shoulder was suddenly grabbed. The strength was so great that Urana couldn't help but let out a painful cry. He glanced intently, and saw fourth Hokage staring at him with a ferocious face and disbelief, and asked, "What have you done? Why have you not changed at all? Say." The last word, "say," sounded like a sky thunder, and Urana was deaf in both ears and buzzed endlessly. With the support of the system, Urana felt much more settled and was able to deal with it normally. Immediately calmly said, "Master Hokage, the subordinates have just said that Yuanlong is the enemy of me, and it is normal to use this kind of fake news to borrow a knife to kill people. The subordinates are not the so-called white cold light at all, of course there will be no changes. Furthermore, the subordinates are good at lightning style, and White Hangwang is good at water style. If the subordinates are really white cold light, then am I not a monster? Have you ever seen a person who is only 12 years old who has such a high level of accomplishment in the ability to escape water and thunder attributes at the same time?" After listening to his defense, fourth Hokage asked again, "How do you explain the information from that day? He got it by sneaking in secretly. How could it be Yuanlong's intentional plan to kill someone with a knife? Do you want to tell me that Tianxin will be discovered if he sneaks in so seamlessly? Yuanlong is behind the master." His tone was quite angry. If so, wouldn't it be a slap in the face? Isn't this telling him plainly that Cloud Shinobi Village's infiltration ability is worse than Kurigakure? Well, Master Hokage, please calm down. Urana felt even happier after hearing this. Hokage loses control of his emotions, which means he has more opportunities. Although Yuanlong's strength is not very good, I have to admire his methods. It is the first-class level in the ninja world. Everything of Kurigakure is under his control. It may not be difficult to sneak in, but if you want to investigate something, it is not so difficult. If you move too much, you will always find some clues, and he happens to be a master in this area. I don't question the ability of Captain Tianxin, but he took it back so unexpectedly. I think it's still a bit abnormal. Because Kurigakure, except for rebellion, all the others will be planted with a corresponding curse when they leave the village. According to the normal reaction, he should have feelings with me who is also Kurigakure. But as you can see, Captain Tianxin didn't have any feelings with me. That is to say. The words were not finished, but Urana believed that fourth Hokage knew what he meant. Real. Fourth Hokage looked at Urana with a weird face and said. He didn't believe Urana's words at all. He felt that Urana was deceiving him seriously. It's just that he has no evidence to prove that Urana is lying. How could there be such a weird regulation? The ninja out of the village has to plant a curse. Just don't believe the ninja in the village. Haha, if Master Hokage doesn't believe it, you can send someone to check it again. Urana believed in her face. This time, he was really not talking nonsense. But Kurigakure really has such a rule. Master Hokage may not know our Kurigakure rules. There are two functions of planting a curse seal. The first one is that when you go out to perform tasks, you can find companions faster and perform tasks more easily. The second is to find everyone when the mission has failed, and then kill them to ensure that the news will not leak. So, although this curse imprint sounds absurd, it is real. Listening to what he said, fourth Hokage began to believe a little. This style is indeed like what Kurigakure can do. Only Kurigakure can do so honestly to kill his companions. But in this case, doesn't it mean that he really wronged Urana? No, it's definitely not like that. Before you make a decision, you have to look at his memory. It suddenly occurred to fourth Hokage that there is still memory that has not been inquired. By now, a dead horse is a living horse doctor. If Urana is really okay, I won't resist it if I want to come. On the contrary, if he resists, it means he has a problem. Even if you say so much, you still can't change your suspicion. Kira, the same sentence. If you are really wronged in the end, I will apologize to you personally. But before that, it's better for you to let us check the memory again, so as to fully prove that you really have no problem. Fourth Raikage looked at Urana with a serious face, and said. Of course there is no problem, I am happy to prove my innocence. If it was before, Urana might still panic. But now, he can be described as unscrupulous. There is a system to help him Kabuto, he is not afraid of anything. This guy, is there really no problem? Urana, who saw it didn't mean anything but agreed. Fourth Raikage couldn't help but frown and said in his heart. Then, he winked at Tianxin and asked him to unlock the seal of remembrance on Urana as described in the information obtained from Kurigakure. Untie. Tianxin immediately followed Raikage's instructions, and then led him to a place where the intelligence department specifically checked the memory. No matter whether there is any problem or not, everything should come to light. Tianxin thought in his heart. Everything did not develop as he imagined, and while regretting him, he also felt fortunate. Urana is not a spy, it couldn't be better. And this time, Fourth Raikage actually came to the place where he was searching the memory to wait, which was enough to see the contradiction in his heart. Time, a little bit passed. Fourth Raikage actually has a feeling of living like years, and Tianxin is the same. And the ninja who is responsible for searching memories has this feeling even more. In the face of Fourth Raikage and Tianxin's gaze, he was under a lot of pressure. Perhaps the only relaxed person is Urana. There is a system Kabuto bottom. The seal of mnemonics has been lifted and there is no problem at all. The memories forged by the system are completely undetectable by people like Cloud Shinobi Village. 25 minutes later, after the memory exploration was over, the ninja in charge of this task could not help but let out a long sigh of relief and wipe the cold sweat from his head. How about it? Before he could catch his breath, Fourth Raikage leaned in and asked. There is no abnormality, his memory is quite normal, just the same as the results of the previous investigations. The subordinate looked at all his memories quite carefully, there is nothing unusual. The man replied. When Fourth Raikage heard this, his brows suddenly frowned. Well, Master Raikage, I will say I have no problem. Urana also walked over at this time and raised her eyebrows. You seem very proud, Fourth Raikage said with a rather ugly face. Of course, my suspicion is completely cleared, how can I be unhappy? Urana smiled and said, as if she hadn't seen Raikage's darker and darker face at all. Master Raikage, if there is nothing else, the subordinates will leave first. Subordinates still have positions to patrol. If you are late again, the acting captain will have trouble finding me, and will inevitably be scolded. Urana said with a rather daunted expression. Go, 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 go quickly, don't get an eye in front of the old man. Fourth Raikage snarled, eyes shining sharply, wishing to eat Urana. Subordinates retire. Urana immediately rushed out to the door. This ghost place, he didn't want to stay anymore. It's almost dead without a place to burial. Fortunately, there is a system, otherwise, you will really be killed by this fellow Yuanlong. Yuanlong, you old and undead, wait for the labor and management. If you don't take revenge, you swear not to be a man. In Urana's heart, Yuanlong has been completely on his blacklist, and he will kill it. After Urana left, Fourth Raikage looked at Tianxin and said, do you think this guy is really fine? I don't know why, I just feel that something is wrong with him. When he was arrested, he was in a panic, panicking and nervousness to the extreme, that was obviously a reaction to the exposure of his identity. But why can't I find it out? Tianxin replied. He reacted so much when he was arrested. Maybe it is indeed the first time he faced such a situation. Instinctive reaction. Since the intelligence department has searched the memory 3 times without finding the problem, I think it should be rest assured. Unless his skills are too great, even the elites of the intelligence department will not see a problem. Would it be touched if Urana knew that Tianxin never forgets to help him say good things? Probably moved. Well, it does make sense. Fourth Raikage nodded, said so, and walked out of the intelligence class. But he said in his heart, is there really no problem at all? I still think this guy has a problem. Anbu can't let him stay in a top-secret place, it's better to be transferred to another post. Where can he put his talents into full play? By the way, it might be a good decision to let him guard the tailed beast Jinchuriki. No, if he really has a problem, wouldn't it be that the lifeblood of the village was sent to him? No way, can't be sent there. Maybe, send it to the assassination department. This is a place that specializes in hunting down various traitors and assassinating them for hire. Except for the assassination, nothing else can be touched. Well, just do it, it's a good way. It not only allows him not to get in touch with the details of Cloud Shinobi Village. It also allows him to contribute his abilities to the greatest extent. After making the decision, Fourth Raikage's face looked a lot better. And Kurigakure at the same time. Terumi Mei looked at the two Anbus in front of him with an extremely gloomy face, and said in a cold tone, I want you to monitor Yuanlong's every move. As a result, you told me that you were caught by Yuanlong's subordinates, causing Urana's information to be obtained by Cloud Shinobi Village ninjas. How did I tell you in the first place? You must be cautious and never careless. This is related to Urana's net worth and life. But in the end, this is the answer you gave me. Listening to Terumi Mei's cold words, the two Anbu elites who were half kneeling in front of her were already sweating coldly, their faces pale in horror. You better pray that Urana won't have any accidents, otherwise, you too will give him his life in exchange for his life. Put them up and let them go. Everyone, I hope this kind of thing will never happen in the future. If there is any accident in what we are doing now, you and I have to die, understand? Terumi Mei looked around for another week and said admonishingly. Everyone naturally nodded their heads, and at the end of the line, Hoshigaki Kisame looked at this scene and grinned in his heart. Urana, how would you respond? Urana wooed him and said that Kurigakure would be changed. But don't wait for Urana to break down. That would be too disappointing. Cloud Shinobi Village. Urana, who is back on duty, of course will not be scolded like he said. Because someone has already explained why he was late. Since it's okay, just do it, I believe Master Raikage will never wrong anyone. The acting captain said to Urana. Urana nodded and said that she knew, so she joined the duty again. Of course, his teammates would not be overwhelmed with curiosity, asking why he was brought to the intelligence department by Raikage for questioning. This is an absolute taboo for Anbu members, and you must never ask. In the afternoon, Tianxin officially returned to the team, and the acting captain abdicated. The first news brought by Tianxin's return to the team made Orui, who had just returned to the team, puzzled. Because Urana was transferred away by Tianxin. Transferred to the dangerous place of the assassination troops. Captain, why did Master Raikage remove him? He is so strong and talented, isn't he a good backbone? A place like the assassination team is always facing a life and death crisis. Isn't this a waste of talent? Tianxin didn't give too much explanation for Orui's doubts. Just said, this is Master Raikage's order, we don't need to ask why, we just need to execute it. Tianxin said that, even if Olui was puzzled, he could only listen to orders. Jinghong, don't die, Tianxin said while looking at Urana. Don't worry, Captain, I will. Urana smiled upon hearing this, and said, I am not that easy to die, my life is hardened. After all, he left. He said in his heart, Fourth Raikage still doesn't seem to believe me. I was transferred from my post to the assassination squad, so I was afraid that I would investigate intelligence. I was really cautious enough. But it doesn't matter, the more you transfer me away, the more people I can reach and the more news I can get. Urana went straight to report to the assassination team. As for the sudden arrival of such a newcomer in his team, the team members are quite excited. Just watching them exude a terrifying murderous intent. Ha ha ha, finally there are new people here, now we have fun looking for it. Hey, rookie, have you seen blood? I was transferred here by Master Raikage for some reason. You seem to be quite young. Have you ever killed someone? Can you really adapt to the life of an assassination team? Don't vomit at that time, we won't wipe your ass. Along the way, a group of people unleashed murderous aura and walked towards Urana, flirting with him. Urana was speechless all the time, because he also observed his teammates. It deserves to be the assassination department. All the strengths are pretty good. It is stronger than the overall strength of other Anbu departments. The key is that everyone is a murderous master, it really suits me. This group of people released the murderous aura that enveloped him, and he selectively ignored it. This murderous thing can't scare him. He went straight to the captain of the assassination team to report, and then he showed a hint of surprise. This person, he knows. The tall man with cold eyes, isn't this the Anbu against the second tail? The name seems to be Fighting Wolf. Hey, it's you. It's strange that you were transferred to me by Master Hokage. That fellow Tianxin was willing to let you here. Fighting Wolf also recognized Urana, and couldn't help being a little surprised. Captain, do you know him? Hearing what Urana and Fighting Wolf said, the surrounding team members couldn't help being surprised. Aang, you know me. You all put your murderous aggression away, your set is useful to others, but it's useless to him. Fighting Wolf glanced at the surrounding players and said, then looked at Urana and said, Jinghong, right. Since you have come to me, you are one of them. I don't have any other rules here, only 3 things need to be followed. First, obey my order. Even if you are right, please point it out after executing my order. Second, teammates are not allowed to kill each other, and offenders will be killed without pardon. If there is a conflict, you can mediate it under the witness of me and other team members. Third, it is absolutely not allowed to harm the interests of the village. If it is discovered, then I am sorry, only you can be wiped out. Can it be done? If it can't be done, I can immediately report to Master Hokage and transfer you to another place. After listening to the cold words of Fighting Wolf, Urana nodded, indicating that she knew it. Well, you are here at the right time. We just received a task. In that case, then officially start your first mission. I will talk to you about related matters on the road. If there are no problems, let's go. Fighting Wolf's speech was not at all muddle-headed, and after speaking, the team of 18 people was assembled and set off. On the way, newcomer, your stamina is fine. Don't be left behind. Obviously, for the newcomer Urana, most of the assassination team did not agree with him. Should be able to keep up, not to fall behind. Urana touched her head, shyly said. I hope. Good luck, newcomer. Hearing what he said, after a group of assassination team members gave him a pitiful look, they buried their heads and hurried away. If Urana can't keep up, they won't have any mercy. Jinghong killed more than 100 ninjas when he first appeared, and quite a few of them were special Jonin. After the match with Darui, we won the victory by absolute advantage. During the riots in Cloud Shinobi Village, the A-level rebel Ino Yuya was suppressed and played an important role in the fight against the second tail. You are so powerful, what will happen to the first assassination mission? I am looking forward to it. Fighting Wolf, who was at the forefront of the team, thought in his heart. He had a good relationship very day, so he was very clear about Urana. He heard Tianxin talk about Urana more than once. Whenever talking about Urana, Tianxin's face will show an irresistible pride. This gave him a deep interest in Urana. In the second battle, he recognized Urana's strength, but strength does not mean that assassination missions can also be executed handily. Don't underestimate the assassination mission. There are too many things in it. Do Lang said in his heart. Then, he called Urana, and while on his way, he told him about the assassination mission this time. Their goal this time is to assassinate the Class B traitor named Huimuraze. The reason to deal with AB class rebels requires the entire assassination team. It's because this guy has defected for 6 years and only recently discovered his trace. Now it has become a climate in the neighboring country of Thunder Country, Moon Country. He not only monopolized the underground transactions of the Snow Country, but also had a large number of armed men and powerful guards. It is quite difficult to deal with, and because it has colluded with the various dignitaries of the Moon Kingdom, it is even more difficult to deal with. The Kingdom of the Moon and the Kingdom of Thunder are allies. If the official is killed casually, the name of the Kingdom of the Moon will naturally not stop. It seems that the difficulty is indeed not small, it is a big challenge. Urana squinted her eyes after listening to the quest from Fighting Wolf, her eyes filled with excitement. The first time you perform a mission, you just need to follow our instructions. I believe that under our leadership, you should and must be very quick masters essentials, understand? Tianxin appreciates you so much, don't let me down. Jinghong, I hope you can bring me a different surprise. After hearing this, Urana couldn't help but smile, and said, "This request is a bit difficult. However, I will do my best, Captain." After hearing what he said, Dolang nodded, and the group continued on the road. Moon Country, Matsuzaka Town. This is a heavily armed town, and all the people are soldiers. Of course, these armaments did not belong to the daimyo of the Moon Kingdom, but belonged to Murazawa, the great master of the Moon Kingdom. Matsuzaka Town, said to be the kingdom of the moon, is not as good as the independent kingdom of Wikuns. This is a land beyond the jurisdiction of the Moon Kingdom. There is only one owner here, and that is Wikuns. And here, all kinds of illegal things are going on every day. Human trafficking, arms smuggling, intelligence sales, etc. This is one of the strongholds of the underground black market. It can be said to have a deep background, and few people dare to offend. Therefore, this place is also known as the Second Kingdom of the Moon Kingdom. Once, the Moon Country daimyo also tried to encircle Huimure's. But in the end it ended in failure, and even his little life was almost guaranteed. Had it not been for a Thunder Country behind him, the name of the Moon Country would have been really cold. Since then, the name of the Moon Kingdom has lost the confidence to destroy and pacify this place. Rather, he agreed with Wikuns that as long as he pays taxes on time, he can admit Wikuns' existence and never interfere with his actions. And Wikuns also does not allow the destruction of the internal affairs of the moon, nor does it allow terrorist activities to threaten the peace and stability of the country of the moon. In this way, the two parties signed an agreement on peaceful coexistence, and it was peaceful until not too long ago. But not long ago, Dekong V, the name of the Moon Kingdom, died of illness, and Dekong V came to power. Compared with his father's tardiness and loss of ambition, Dekong V is ambitious, and naturally will not tolerate the existence of this malignant tumor in Matsuzaka Town. Therefore, an assassination quest was issued to Cloud Shinobi Village, Thunder Country. At this moment, in the central building of Matsuzaka Town, Wikun City. I heard that the idiot of Dekong V wanted to kill me. A middle-aged man with long green hair and a bun said with alcohol on his face. This person is Huimure's. He is bold, he is more courageous than his father. But, at this point, Huimure's eyes suddenly sharpened, and he said, "It's a good thing to be ambitious, but it's not realistic. This guy still hasn't been beaten in reality, and I don't know how big the gap is between us." With contempt at the corner of his mouth, he opened his arms with a big laugh, and said, "The entire Moon Kingdom has only 80,000 troops, and I already control 60,000. Among the city guards of the famous city, there are more than 4 people who are mine, and even his personal guards have mine. He wants to fight me. Is he worthy? Will he succeed? As long as I give an order, he will drop his head." Hockey, and arrogant, but maybe this is reality. Ha ha ha, Nadakang V is purely looking for death. "Come on, Master Wikun, continue drinking," said a white-faced scholar under the seat to the left of Imorizawa. "That's right, Master Wikun, why waste your interest because of a mere ant? He wants to die, and we will fulfill him when the time comes." The big man in the seat on the right of Huimure's also complimented and said, "Ha ha ha, yes, Sir Wikun, drink and drink. Only King Dekong VI, we can kill him if we send 6,000 troops. The land of the moon is just our plaything. Who is the name is not the master of Wikun." A group of people around heard the words and secretly scolded these two people for flattering, and then immediately complimented them for fear of falling behind. "I dare not dare, ha ha ha, you really value me too much. How dare I interfere in the internal affairs of the moon?" He said that, but just by looking at the arrogant smile on the corner of Kimurasawa's mouth, he knew what he was thinking. What will not interfere in internal affairs, obviously will. It's just that he didn't see. While he was drinking, the white-faced scholar rolled his eyes in a certain direction to his right, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. He said in his heart, "Imores, your good days should also be over. I have endured the humiliation and helped you build such a large independent kingdom, you should give it up too. The integrity of the land of the Moon Kingdom will never allow you to destroy it. There can only be one king of the Moon Kingdom, and that is Brother Dekong. Do you think you control the army of the Moon Kingdom? Do you think it is you that they surrender? HMPH, it's a pity, it was me that they surrendered." His Royal Highness, the Second Moon Kingdom, Dekong Haoyu. And it's like being aware of his actions. A certain Ronin swordsman who was standing behind Huimure suddenly opened his eyes and glanced at him, and a suspicion flashed in his eyes. How does he think that this military division is a little bit wrong? And while the banquet is going on here, Moonland border. Finally, everyone at Cloud Shinobi Village. Urana's group was stopped by a group of people at the border. Signal, Dulong said coldly. May sakura flowers and snow, the red moon swaying in the water. The visitor uttered the secret signal fluently, and Dulong exchanged tokens with him before confirming his identity, saying, "The chief guard of the moon country, Yasui-kun, right, how do you want us to cooperate?" Upon hearing this, Yasui said, "Please follow me to the Daming City immediately in the dark road. Your Royal Highness needs your guards at this moment. Then go." Do Lang nodded, and let Yasui lead the way towards the famous city. The place where they met was quite hidden, but even so, it was discovered by Huimorizi's spies. Hehe, it seems that Wikun's monitoring power is good, he escaped a little mouse. Walking on the road, Urana grinned suddenly. What's the situation? After listening to his words, Do Wolf immediately asked about the situation. Just now, a spy left. He was full of malice towards us and wanted to be an enemy or not a friend. Urana grinned and replied. Impossible, I don't have the slightest sense at all, and there is no abnormality in the radius, so the enemy will come. Do you want to show it and deliberately bullshit? Boy, this kind of joke is not funny. If the mission fails, you can't afford the consequences. A person who seemed to be in charge of induction immediately opened his mouth to question, with sharp eyes. Jinghong, I'll give you another chance, is there any? Don't tell me lies, the consequences are serious. After listening to this person's words, Dulong's eyes when looking at Urana suddenly became cold, and he seemed to quite believe what this person said just now. Yes, that's right, hurry up and tell the truth. Newcomer, don't pick things on purpose. Xinqiang said no, how did you say that there are enemies? All the people around him looked at Urana in an unkind manner, and forced them to ask aloud. Yila, of course you can't find the enemy. Because he was 3 miles away and he saw us with the special investigative technique. Urana glanced at the crowd, and jokingly narrowed her eyes. If you don't chase, he will be beyond my range of perception. By then, the mission has failed, don't put the blame on me. What, 3 miles away? New here, are you sure you are not joking? Stop talking nonsense, whose investigation range can reach 3 miles away? After Urana's teammates listened to his words, they all questioned. Their faces are full of suspicion, and they don't believe that Urana has this ability. Just forget it if you don't believe it, that's my abruptness. I remind myself, if others don't believe it, then forget it. If you don't believe in anything, you must say more about other things, and you won't be to blame for the mission failure when that happens. Jinghong, are you sure you didn't feel wrong? Fighting Wolf asked again, but his tone was already a little bit believable. He doesn't believe in Urana, but he believes in Tianxin. Since Tianxin's evaluation of him is so high, it shows that Urana is definitely not a person who has lost her reputation. I don't think I will mistake the human breath. Urana raised her eyebrows and said, what is the sense of breath 3 miles away? I heard that Konoha's second Hokage Senju Tobarama can sense the breath thousands of kilometers away. That is the real king. In the original work, in the forbidden area of the Konoha Uchiha clan, you can directly sense the breath of Uchiha Madara in the battlefield near the neighboring country of the Moon Kingdom. This kind of tyrannical power of induction, that is superhuman. Thousands of kilometers. His words immediately caused everyone to take a breath. Is there such a scary person? If this is the case, then I will believe you once. Xinqiang, you chase after Jinghong, speed up. Fighting Wolf gave an order to Urana and the ninja responsible for perception, code-named Xinqiang Morin. Allah Allah, I know I can't escape the life of a trip myself. Go, Captain. After speaking, he cast a glance at the person called Xinqiang, and he disappeared in place. Is this guy provoking? A newcomer, really arrogant. Seeing Urana's actions, the faces of the assassination team were quite unkind. Don't be arrogant. Just look at their return record. If there is no real power, that would be arrogance. If we have the strength, then it's a different matter. It means that our standards should also be improved. Dulong said coldly upon hearing this. Everyone was silent, and then they found a hidden place and waited. Urana here. Not bad, this guy knows a lot about anti-reconnaissance capabilities. But it's a pity, the prey I'm looking at has never been able to escape. Urana murmured to herself as she hurried. As for Xincheng, even if he tried his best to let go of perception, he didn't get the slightest gain. While this made him doubt his abilities, he couldn't help but wonder if Urana was bragging. If you're talking nonsense and disturbing the military's morale, I will definitely kill you without hesitation. He thought so firmly in his heart. But when I remembered that Urana just said that Senju Tobarama could perceive the breath thousands of kilometers away, he still couldn't help the waves in his heart. Is there such a powerful person in the world? And just 1 kilometer in front of them, a man who looked rather ordinary was running wildly. If you bring this news to Master Wikun, he will definitely reward me. He thought so beautifully in his heart. Ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village, don't let you spoil the good things of Huimura-sama. The Moon Kingdom is the domain of Lord Wei Village. You are not allowed to intervene. He quite firmly recognizes this view. Only, an hour later, he had to stop. Brother, I have something I want to talk to you about, I don't know what you want. Seeing Urana, who suddenly appeared in front of her and said these things to her with a smile, her pupils shrank into needles in an instant. Then, he turned around and ran without even thinking about it. It's just that the new city has already been waiting behind him. Run, that is impossible. Urana pursued so hard, isn't it just for his head? Puff. After a long fight, the man was killed by Urana and fell in a pool of blood. Urana quickly dealt with this person, leaving no trace. It's finished, you can go back and explain to the captain. Xincheng, right, how, do you still doubt my ability now? Urana raised her eyebrows and asked triumphantly. I've gained a lot of knowledge, it's the frog at the bottom of my well. Xincheng said with an unsightly expression. In the face of absolute facts, he had to admit even if he didn't want to admit it. I am over-flattered. Urana laughed and set off on her way home with the new city. After half an hour, the two and Fighting Wolf joined together. New town, what's the situation? Is there really an enemy 3 miles away? A group of people immediately got together and asked curiously. There are indeed enemies, but I underestimated them. Xincheng clenched his fists and replied somewhat unwillingly. It takes courage to admit that one's ability is not good in front of so many people. What, there really is? Really let the newcomer get it right. Xincheng, who listened to admitted personally, everyone's eyes were straight. Urana is really not talking nonsense, he is so arrogant, he is really talented in learning. This is embarrassing. Escape mocked Urana as just now, and now it's too late to admit her mistake. This perception is too terrifying. Someone sighed sincerely, the perception range is 3 miles, too powerful. Okay, since it's true, let's continue on the road, this is also very good news for us. With such a strong perception of Jinghong, the smoothness of our mission this time can also be improved a lot. Fighting Wolf broke the current atmosphere, and then ordered to head towards the famous city of Moon Kingdom at full speed. I have to say that Wikun's monitoring methods are very strong. Along the way, Urana and the others removed a total of 4 spies before they arrived at the famous city. 4 spies, one hidden is more concealed than the other. If it weren't for Urana's perception array that had been strengthened by the system, they would really not be able to perceive their tracks. And this also allowed everyone to slowly recognize Urana's ability, and no longer called a newcomer, like before. Because if Urana hadn't caught these spies, even if they stood in front of the spies, they might not find anyone there. And if this is the case, their mission this time will definitely fail. Thinking of the consequences of that, Fighting Wolf couldn't help but rejoice. Master Hokage gave him Cypriots in time. Fortunately, Urana is here. Huimure's here. Is there any news from the outgoing spies? Why is there no news at all after so long? Even if he was drunk, Huimure's did not forget to ask about the monitoring situation. I guess there is no abnormal situation. With their hiding skills, unless it is Konoha's Hyuga clan. Otherwise, no matter how strong the other people are, they won't be able to find any trace of them. Dekong Haoyu shook the fan and replied. Ha ha ha, that's right, I want to find them, no way. This is the most proud troop of labor in capital. Dekong Haoyu's answer made Huimura's quite satisfied. He then ordered, remember to pay attention to the movements of those spies in the famous city. I think it won't be long before there will be news of Cloud Shinobi. HMPH, want to kill me, Dekong V, you are too tender. The words are full of pride and arrogance. Daming City. Hey, there are a lot of spies in this famous city. There are also a lot of malicious people. It seems that the security of Dekong V is not so stable. This Huimura's has some tricks, even the daimyo can mix sand around. As soon as she entered the city gate, Urana disguised as a guard raised her eyebrows. With his words, Ieyasu couldn't help sighing, and said, if the situation hadn't been so serious, we wouldn't have invited you all. However, with everyone helping to protect His Royal Highness, I have confidence in eradicating Huimura's. He is a pest, it won't last long. Urana and others cannot comment on his remarks. In this way, everyone came all the way to the Daming Hall and saw Daming Dekong V. Of course, the spies that Imurazawa inserted were all solved by Urana. However, whether there will be a fish that slips through the net with high strength, then I don't know. At least for now, it hasn't alarmed anyone. Welcome everyone, I feel more settled when I see you. Thanks, Ieyasu. Dekong V was a fat young man. The long one is not handsome, but the spirit is good, his eyes are piercing, and he has a bit of the majesty of a superior. Your daimyo is polite. Fighting Wolf made a polite sentence, and then asked, I don't know how Master Daming plans to carry out this mission. After listening to such direct words as Fighting Wolf, King Dekong VI's expression immediately became serious, and said, you must settle down before you get rid of the outside world. After I get rid of the internal instability, I will immediately declare war on Imura's. Counting the time, the news that everyone came here, Imurazawa should have received it too. That guy's monitoring system is superb, and the people around me have nothing to do with it. When he said this, his expression was rather sad. His Royal Highness, maybe you don't need to worry about this issue. If there were no accidents, Imurazawa shouldn't know that everyone from Cloud Shinobi is here. Ieyasu said with confidence. Hearing Ieyasu's words, King Dekong VI's eyes widened suddenly, and he asked half surprised and half joyed, how do you say this? Could it be that Imura's didn't send a spy? It's impossible. How could that guy be so cautious to do this kind of thing? Hearing this, Ieyasu immediately looked at Urana in the team and said, thanks to the help of Mr. Jinghong, we have eliminated all the spies in the city. If there were no accidents, Huimura's should have been in a state of blindness for a long time. So, Lord Daming, we have an absolute opportunity to deal with many things. Even if it is efficient, you can catch Megamurazawa by surprise. When I said this, Ieyasu's tone was completely excited. What, there is such a good thing. Good, Mr. Jinghong, thank you so much. King Dekong VI got up and bowed gratefully to Urana. Urana stepped back and did not accept, and said, if the Master Daimyo is ready, I think the internal scavenging operation should also start, and it will change after a while. Dekong V. Okay, let's start. Ieyasu, let's start implementing the plan we have discussed in advance. Ie Kong immediately took the order and retired, and King Dekong VI looked at Fighting Wolf and the others, and said, my safety will trouble you all. Nowadays, there are not many people I can trust. So I didn't bring a guard here. Of course, Urana and others readily accepted his commission. Their task is to do this. Master Daming, can I go and see this action? If it is inconvenient, I am sorry for being abrupt. Urana is a little uncomfortable just waiting like this, isn't it fragrant to have time to swing a sword? Hehe, Mr. Jinghong, please don't go out for the time being to avoid misunderstanding. If you feel bored, you can go to the side hall to take a short rest. After hearing this, Urana shrugged, and after obtaining permission from Dulong, she went to the side hall. Is this guy really impatient? It's not like it. On the way here, I remember his patience was better than anyone else. Why is it suddenly like this now? Seeing this behavior of Urana, someone behind Fight Wolf said with confusion. Go and see what he is doing. Do Lang frowned upon hearing this, and said. Someone immediately took the order. Partial Palace. This is a very empty place, with nothing but 2 rows of chairs. Urana found a place, pulled out the short blade from her waist and waved it. Strength, strength. I want to go back and take revenge to make Yuanlong look good. I can't do it without strength. I want to overthrow Mizukage and teach Uchiha Obito. How can I do it without the strength? At the very least, you have to be a beginner at Kage level. But if you want to have Kage level strength, you need to have at least 110 W enhancement points. According to his daily 2W strengthening point, it would take nearly 2 months. Counting the time to perform the task, his time can be said to be quite urgent. Besides, my ambition does not allow me to just have the ability to enter Kage level. If you want to overthrow Mizukage Yagura, you need to have an intermediate level of Kage level. Time waits for no one. Urana really needs to make good use of every period of time. And when the people sent by Fighting Wolf came here, they saw Urana swinging a sword. Swing the sword very hard. This makes this person look dumbfounded. Urana came to the side hall just to do this. He thought that Urana was going to do some little tricks in private. This is the result. Jinghong, why do you keep swinging your sword like this? Can it increase your strength? The man asked Urana, very puzzled. Yes, otherwise I won't work hard like this. Urana replied with a smile. Hearing this person couldn't help but vomit. I believe in your evil, you bad old man. Can swinging a sword become stronger? He had heard of it for the first time. It's probably an excuse. I think it's just this guy's idle pain, so I came here to vent my energy. He left. Don't leave, do you still have to watch Urana swing his sword? That scene is too philosophical. Chapter 51. When everyone asked what Urana was doing, the man answered that when Urana was swinging his sword, he got a wave of Byakugan. Please, this excuse is not clever at all. How can anyone do such a stupid thing? Swing a sword, what can you do? Can become stronger. They don't believe it. No, it's true, he is really swinging a sword. Ching-Chung opened his mouth and said solemnly. Oh, is he really swinging a sword? Ching-Chung is a serious person, and his words are more credible. But after hearing his words, everyone was immediately stunned. Jinghong, what the hell is this? Really swinging a sword? Don't worry about him, get ready for the battle that may come. Fighting Wolf opened his mouth and everyone closed their mouths and stood still. And in the side hall, Uncle, why have you been swinging your sword? Are you a swordsman? But your dressing doesn't look the same at all. While Urana was swinging the sword, a childish female voice came from behind him. Urana cast a glance at the sound. This is a little girl like a porcelain doll. His face is full of innocence, with 2 small horns tied together, and wearing a red patterned kimono, his face is round and cute. Behind her, there were 2 maids behind. One of the maids looked at Urana with a look of caution, and asked proudly, which army are you from? Why is it here? Why don't I know you at all? Is this a place where you can stay? Does your identity match? Do you know where this is? A series of questions simply does not give people a chance to answer. I'm here to assist Cloud Shinobi, Lord Daming, and Lord Daming allowed me to come here. If you have any questions, just ask. If there is nothing else, don't make noise in my ears. I hate someone babbling in my ears. If the other party is so rude to him, there is no need to expect him to have a good attitude. The maid suddenly showed anger when she heard the words. But before she could continue to say anything, a black shadow suddenly broke into the door, wiped her neck with a knife, and blood spewed out. Then, grabbed at the little girl. All this happened too suddenly. The other maid couldn't fully understand what was going on, and stayed there in a daze. When the little girl was about to be caught by the man in black, someone outside shouted, "Quickly, stop that guy, it is absolutely impossible for the little princess to be captured by them." After hearing this, Urana, who had originally planned to have nothing to do with her, suddenly flashed a light in her eyes, and disappeared in place. He remembers that Ieyasu told him on the way. The reason why Huimureis was able to hold the 60,000 army of the Moon Kingdom was because the daughter of the Admiral Army of the Moon Kingdom was watched by his men who sneaked into the Daming City. Life and death are the master. Therefore, for the safety of his daughter's life, the Admiral Army had to obey the orders of Huimureis. The daughter of the Admiral Army seems to be called the Little Princess. Boom! A fist slammed into the face of the man in black, sending him out. The little girl was picked up by Urana, and she backed away abruptly. The man in black had already shot a piece of shuriken in his hand, and there were many detonating charms tied to it. It's really hit, most of it hurts. Lightning-style thunder pillar wall. Holding a little girl doesn't affect Urana Kuyan. 3 thunder pillars formed a triangular lightning defense and enveloped the 2 of them. Boom boom. The shuriken, Kuwu Bang, suddenly exploded above the thunder and lightning defense. The noise was so loud that the entire hall shuddered and the tiles fell, and the bricks on the ground also exploded. Ha ha ha, die, die, even if you can't catch you, it's a good choice to blow you up. In this way, King Dekong VI is dead, and the Admiral Army will definitely kill him to avenge his daughter. The man in black couldn't help laughing smugly when he saw this scene. There were also panicked voices from outside immediately. The big thing is not good. Hurry up, go in and check the situation. The little princess must have nothing to do. Otherwise, it will ruin the important matter of His Royal Highness. And when chaos occurred in the Piandian, the hall where Dekong V was located also rebelled. Unexpectedly, even you betrayed me, Minister of War. It's really fast. Ieyasu did it right after you did it. It was really unexpected. King Dekong VI looked at the man in front of the surrounding enemies and sighed like this. Minister of War, my lord, sorry. If you live in peace with Huimuraes, we Kunshin will be able to continue as before. It's a pity that you have come to this point after all. Your lord, this choice is not wise at all. Give up resistance, Master Da Ming, you have no chance of winning. Your personal bodyguard is indeed very strong, but he is only one person after all. 2 fists are hard to beat 4 hands, but your safety can't be guaranteed. The outside is completely surrounded by our people. You can't support the support coming. Hearing what the Minister of War said, King Dekong VI smiled, confidently, and said, it's over. Then it's me. Imaraze is really a good method. Even my guard can buy it. It's an eye-opener. Dekong V swept his sights from the Minister of War and others, and said with emotion. The people behind the Minister of War were all his guards in the past. The person closest to him. Most likely to kill him. It is precisely because of this that when the action came today, he dismissed all the guards, leaving only one personal guard waiting for Urana and the others to arrive. And now, everything is proceeding according to his plan. He believes that his plan will succeed. Seeing him like this, the Minister of War instinctively felt bad. Something is wrong. Under normal circumstances, when Dekong V faced such a situation, no matter how bold he was, shouldn't he also show a trace of panic? Why is his face full of confidence? Does he have any other players? Or bluffing? Thinking of this, he immediately waved to the people behind him, motioning them to attack. He wanted to see if King Dekong VI was bluffing. If there is a backhand, what kind of backhand is it? Swish swish. Obtaining the order of the Minister of War, the phantom that he saw immediately rushed towards King Dekong VI. These people's eyes are full of crazy colors, murderous intent is boiling. Puff puff. But just when these people were about to approach King Dekong VI, several icy cold lights emerged from behind King Dekong VI. All the rushing people fell to the ground immediately, blood gushing rapidly on their necks. When the cold light dissipated, Fight Wolf and his party made their debut, protecting King Dekong VI. Cloud Shinobi. Seeing the forehead protector on the heads of Fighting Wolf and the others, the Minister of War couldn't help being pale with horror, his eyes rounded. How is it possible? How could Cloud Shinobi appear here? Why didn't we receive any news? It's not good, retreat quickly. Seeing that things were not going well, he was going to bugger immediately. Since it's here, don't go. If you get the news, how can there be such a good show to watch? Everyone at Cloud Shinobi, they will leave it to you. Dekong V said with a smile on his face, but his tone was full of murderous intent. Fighting Wolf and others rushed out immediately after hearing this, and surrounded the Minister of War and others. It's fantastic to say that there are only 17 people in Fighting Wolf, while the Minister of War has more than 400 people, but it is the Minister of War who are extremely nervous. But this is also normal. 17 ninjas fight against 400 ordinary soldiers, and the winner must be a ninja. Because the strength gap is too big. One genin can deal with more than 10 or 20 soldiers. Let alone the assassination team whose average strength is above Chunin. How about, Minister of War, surrender. You have no chance of winning. Dekong proudly said, the nervousness of the Minister of War and all his subordinates. Master Daming, do you think this is possible? The Minister of War first sighed, then suddenly smiled again, still somewhat proud. He said, although I am defeated, it does not affect the progress of the entire plan. You may not know, the little princess has also entered the hall, and we have sent a master to catch her. Hey, I must have done it now. Hearing this, I saw King Dekong VI, who was still full of confidence last moment, but his face changed drastically at this moment. Seeing him like this, the Minister of Defense grinned quite proudly. My lord, you should know what the little princess means. If something goes wrong with her, the 60,000 troops under the Admiral Army will become your enemy in an instant. At that time, you, who have no advantage, can you rely on how to fight Huimureis? After the Daming city is settled, how many soldiers can you put together? 10,000, or 5,000. Even if you have the power to shake the sky, you can uproot Huimurasawa-sama, but the Tokumu Admiral Army is more troublesome than Huimurasawa-sama. If you have a grudge with him, the kingdom of this month will never be stable. He will definitely not want to get rid of you all the time. With his prestige, strength, and means, it is easy to crack the earth and seal the king. Hearing what he said, King Dekong VI's expression instantly changed, quite ugly. The little princess in his mouth is the daughter of the Admiral Army of the Moon Country Mitsukawa. Admiral has only one daughter in his life in the military. Therefore, it is very precious. The Admiral Army holds the 60,000 army of the Moon Kingdom, which is related to the Moon Kingdom military importance. Therefore, his daughter was made a princess, but she was kept in the palace as a hostage to ensure the peaceful coexistence between them and Kunshin. However, if something goes wrong with his daughter, the Admiral Army will definitely turn to Huimureis because of her daughter's safety. It will surely increase the difficulty of this war several times, and even cause Huimureis to escape, leaving endless troubles. The most important thing is that the German Admiral Army is the leader of the army of the entire Moon Kingdom, and its prestige is unimaginable. With a lift of his arm, he can set off a huge rebellion. Want to destroy him, the difficulty is much stronger than Huimureis. At that time, the Kingdom of the Moon was really over, and it was bound to fall into endless chaos. Seeing the expression of Dekong, the Minister of War smiled even more proudly. However, without waiting for him to continue speaking, the sound of a voice made his smile suddenly stop. If the little princess you are talking about is about this little sister, then I don't think you need to be proud of anything. Urana appeared in the sight of everyone. Behind him was a little girl like a porcelain doll. She hugged Urana's neck tightly, her face was full of curiosity and excitement. Little princess. The little girl on Urana's back, Dekong and the Minister of War exclaimed at the same time. Great, Dekong exclaimed fortunately. How could it be? The Minister of War was full of disbelief. He obviously sent a lot of good hands to rob the little princess, how could he still fail? Obviously he didn't let anyone know about this plundering plan, so why it failed? Where did this Urana come from? Ha ha ha, Minister of War, it seems that God is not on your side. Everyone, destroy them. King Dekong VI immediately issued combat orders to Fighting Wolf and others. I won't just admit defeat like this. Kamikaze team, come on to me. Facing the rushing Dewolf and others, the Minister of War shouted violently, and he was yelling at the group of people behind him. In the next instant, all these people I saw opened their clothes, and what I saw was on his body, which was actually full of detonating charms. Die together. These people known as the Kamikaze team showed a hideous look and rushed towards Fighting Wolf and them. Retreat. When Fighting Wolf saw this, he dodged quickly, and the Minister of War rushed towards the door when he saw this scene. I can't die here. The old man has a great future, he said in his heart. Puff. But a cold light swished past him at this moment. He felt a cold neck, his physical strength began to flow away, and the scarlet blood blurred his vision. No. How? Can? He stared wide, and fell at the gate of the palace. Boom. The next moment, the thunderous thunder from the Daming Hall exploded, and the sawdust flew across. Billowing flames burst into the sky, and the deafening thunder resounded everywhere. With an astonishing impact, Urana hurriedly turned back to protect the little princess behind her, covering her head with her hands, and was carried away by the air waves. Dekongvi has its own guards, and Dulong and others also rushed out. Only the corpses of the Minister of War were scattered all over, and the flesh and blood corpses of his men splashed all over. Urana covered the eyes of the little princess in time. This scene is too exciting for this kid. The war has begun, Urana said with emotion like this. The little princess writhed very, honestly, around his neck, wanting to see what happened outside. Mr. Jinghong, thank you so much. Thank you for saving the little princess, otherwise, my plan will really fail. At this time, King Dekong VI came over and bowed to Urana, thanking him sincerely. It's so thrilling. If something happens to the little princess, his moon kingdom is really over. Thank you, maybe I was lucky, and I just met the little princess who appeared in the side hall. Take a step to speak, the scene here is not suitable for conversation. Regarding Urana's proposal, everyone had no objection, so they came to the parliamentary room. Big brother, this place is so boring, Shalwa doesn't like it. When Urana and others sat down, the little princess who had been lying on Urana's shoulder was also put down by Urana. However, she seemed to be quite close to Urana, and she shrank into Urana's arms, like a little cat. It's also very lively outside. Urana glanced in the direction of Daming City, and said. Outside there were all fighting sounds, the sound of gold and iron clashing, the neighing of war horses, the sound of explosions and so on. All kinds of rebel forces have emerged, that's for sure. What we have to do now is to wait. When the rebellion in the city is resolved, you can almost contact the Admiral Army and send troops to Matsuzaka Town. Stopping Matsuzaka Town, eradicating Wikuns, and restoring the unity of my Moon Kingdom, you will be accomplished in this battle. Dekongvi clenched his fists, his eyes burning with excitement. Jinghong, in the side hall just now, you should have encountered a lot of enemies too. What's the specific situation? Do Lang asked at this time. After hearing these words, Dekongvi also looked at it curiously. Hey, what else can happen? Urana sighed after hearing the words, I've been practicing well, and the little princess suddenly came in. Then a man in black broke in with the intention of taking the little princess away. After being blocked by me, the battle broke out, and it exploded with a piece of his detonating talisman. Then seeing me okay, a group of his companions came to besiege. I had no choice but to kill them all, and I joined you. Not to mention, Huimures is really good at sending people. These people in black are all pretty good, they should all be professional assassination ninjas, they all have a plum blossom tattoo on their bodies. After hearing what he said, Do Lang nodded his head to show his comprehension, and said, you can say that the strength is good, I want to be very strong. Urana's mouth is pretty good, and it's also a special Jonin level. Dekongvi said, plum blossom tattoos. Those people in black should be from the imperial court under Huimorizi's command. This is the biggest troop in Huimorizi's hand. There are 36 people in total. They are all powerful wandering ninjas in the ninja world. A few years ago, my father's 10,000 elite team was attacked by them and then destroyed, otherwise they would not fail. Unexpectedly, they would die under your sword, Mr. Jinghong, you really are better at it. Urana didn't care much about Dekongvi's praise. Are those people in black so good? At this time, the little princess seemed to be interested, and said, really? Are those people in black so powerful? I thought they were not great. They just passed by the big brother, and they all fell down. As expected, big brother, so amazing. Big brother, take a little flower to fight, okay. The little princess opened her eyes wide and flickered, full of expectation. But what she said really scared King Dekong VI. For a moment, all 7 people from Yutingban fell down. What kind of fairy strength is this? Is this the level of Cloud Shinobi? It's really too strong. He couldn't help but look at Dulong and the others, and said in his heart, sure enough, asking them to come is a very correct choice. I think that each of them must have the strength like Jinghong, plus this stronger captain, Huimures, you are dead. Dekongvi suddenly had infinite confidence in his heart. Facing the little princess's full-faced expectation, Urana's eyes were extremely indifferent, and said, no. The sword has no eyes, so I can't take you there. After hearing this answer, the little princess was immediately unhappy. She cried and said, big brother, no, take me there, Shalwa is behaved. I will definitely not trouble my big brother. No, Urana's attitude is still tough. Good brother, take me there, just once, okay. Xiao Wawa clutched Urana's clothes and acted like a baby. No, Urana still didn't give up. HMPH, ignore you, big brother is a bad guy. Upon hearing this, the little princess suddenly pouted her mouth, and angrily withdrew into Urana's arms. When they saw this scene, everyone looked at each other. It just so happened that the sound of the guards came from outside the door. Master Daming, are you okay? My lord, you are not injured, right? What happened? Why did the Daming Palace explode suddenly? Several people who looked like team officials rushed in and knelt in front of King Dekong VI and asked anxiously. As for whether it's really anxious, I don't know. I'm fine. As for what happened, do I still need to say? Isn't this your duty? Let the dangerous people get close to the Daming Hall. Your security work is really perfect. You are the death penalty of even sitting in the 9 clan. Hearing this, these team officers squashed their heads in horror. Your subordinates deserve to die, please forgive me. Dekong V waved his hand in annoyance. Okay, I wanted to kill you, but what's the use of punishing you now? Bring your guards to fight the rebellion together. It's a crime and meritorious service. I am here waiting for your good news. But if you mess up again, there is no need to come to see me, you know what to do. Upon hearing these words, the 3 of them immediately kowtow as if they were amnesty, and said, thank you Daming for forgiveness. Then he went out rolling and crawling. Then, as soon as the sound of scolding spread, there was a neat footstep slowly going away. Dekong V, let me see if you are really loyal. Now, except for these people around him, he didn't believe it. If these people are loyal and the war is over, he will naturally give him a good reward. But if it is unfaithful, he glanced at the guard beside him, and said bitterly, if they rebel, let Ieyasu lead his troops to kill. The latter stepped back. Meanwhile, Matsuzaka Town. If you count the time, Cloud Shinobi's team should also have news. Why hasn't there been any information yet? Huimure's felt something wrong inexplicably. Did something happen? He had such an idea inexplicably. Where is Yayoi? He immediately shouted to the outside, and a voice rang out immediately, saying, what's the command of Lord Wikun? This person is Yayoi, Huimure's. Send someone to explore the next big city and the situation along the way. Why there is no news at all, this is a bit abnormal. How could Cloud Shinobi be so slow? Yayoi, yes, then he disappeared. Could it be that I'm worrying too much? According to the normal schedule, they may indeed have just arrived. Even if my spies can detect their tracks, they should not send the news so soon. It's just what is going on with this uneasy feeling. Obviously, even Demu Shalwai sent someone to pick it up. In this way, I will completely have an army of 60,000 and many elites under his command. Dekong V cannot be my opponent at all. How can I be upset in this situation? Are you too worried? Huimure's thought with a frown. Don't look at him being drunk at the moment, but this doesn't affect his thinking. Maybe it's because I didn't get first-hand information, that's why I'm so upset. For a long time, he has been accustomed to the combat method of controlling intelligence and making specific plans. Only this time, the intelligence did not come as he expected, making him a little panicked, afraid that something unexpected would happen. Master Wikun, the spies have arrived. At this moment, Yayoi's voice sounded again, and Imurazawa was overjoyed and asked Yayoi to send in the information. Yayoi, a man who looked like a woman, passed the information in his hand to Huimure's. Huimure's took a look at the information, and what he saw read, the crowd of Cloud Shinobi has crossed the border. 18 people. Good. Seeing this information, Imurazawa stood up with a slap on his thigh, and said, notify Yu Tingfan and everyone else. The war has begun. Whether you can completely control the food and drink in the Moon Kingdom depends on this battle. Although we have a great advantage, our opponent is Cloud Shinobi. We must not underestimate it. After listening to his order, Yayoi immediately stepped back to convey the order. And when it was arranged by Huimure's, Daming City. Calculate the time, the first wave of intelligence we released should have arrived at this moment. If you want to come to Huimure's, you must feel that we have just arrived in the land of the moon at this moment, and there is still a long way to go to refuse the famous city. Urana is standing on a square, From here you can see the battle of the entire Daming City. Hey, I didn't see it, Jinghong, you still have such a great tactical mind. Someone praised. Is sure no one will doubt it. That Huimure's can develop into this scale in just a few years, it's not a simple character. Dulong asked with some doubts. Doubt, maybe, but it doesn't matter, even if you doubt it, at least it's time for the third message to arrive. After all, they have considerable trust in the skills of the spies. That's right, ordinary people wouldn't think that this group of people have the ability to explore 3 miles away. But that will be 3 hours later. This period of time is enough for us to line up. Urana glanced at the direction of Matsuzaka town again, and said, he can develop to such a large scale, his ability is really good. But the existence of the perception team is also indispensable, it can be described as an existence like an eye. And now, we have blinded Huimure's eyes. Maybe when we showed up, Huimure's was still a little confused. If the undercover agents mentioned by King Dekong VI really have real power within Huimure's, then Huimure's is definitely dead this time. After listening to Urana's words, people around couldn't help but admire. It's really like a planner, are you really a ninja? You have such a talent as a ninja. It's a waste of talent. Urana just smiled at this. Strategist, compared with those strategists in his previous life history. Not far behind them, Ieyasu was returning to King Dekong VI, all in blood. The rebellion in the Daming City has been decided, and the attack can begin. The remaining soldiers of Dekong V consisted of only 3,000 men. But it doesn't matter, that's enough. Because of the safety of his daughter, the 60,000 army commanded by the threatened German Admiral Army will be the poison that put him to death. Everyone, go to war. I am here waiting for your good news. King Dekong VI came over and said to Urana and them. Set off. Fighting Wolf immediately gave an order and set off with Ieyasu. Master Daming, why don't you enlist the 10,000 soldiers guarding the Daming City? Don't they just be stationed in the suburbs? After Urana and the others left, someone around Dekong V asked. No need. Dekong V answered aloud. He said in his heart, if possible, I would naturally think too. But who can guarantee that Imarazine will not be inserted into the spy? You can't fight the grass and startle the snake, it's ruining Jinghong's good plan. Urana here, he, I know Big Brother is the best. The little princess lay on Urana's back with a happy face and laughed out loud. Don't get me wrong, it's just because your existence is important to bring you out. Urana said indifferently. The existence of the little princess is the key to whether Admiral's army can reverse, of course, we must take her to the front line. Don't say anything later, understand? Urana exhorted again. Yeah, surely, Shalwa will definitely not make a sound. Upon hearing this, the little princess nodded quickly with a serious look. And on the other side, Huimure's received the second message. The little princess has been successfully brought back, and the adults can set off with peace of mind. Seeing this information, Huimura Zedong was about to send it to the Admiral Army, letting him start the army. You'd better keep your promises, otherwise, if you have a group of powerful subordinates, I will stay with you endlessly. The Admiral Army is a middle-aged and old man with a beard, with sharp eyes like a falcon, a burly figure, and a centipede-like scar on his right arm. Of course it will. Master Imurasawa admires General Shogun very much. It was Yayoi who was sent by Imares to deliver the letter, he said with a smile. Humph. Regarding Yayoi's words, the Admiral Army snorted and shouted, Eastern Army, let's go. Immediately after the Admiral Army's team set off, after Huimure's left some little brothers to guard the house, he also set off with his men. He doesn't think he will lose, his advantage is too great. He really couldn't think of how he would lose. Urana here. This canyon is really suitable for ambush. Standing on the top of the canyon, Urana said sincerely looking at this canyon shaped like dumplings. The upper part, the exit, and the entrance are extremely narrow and long, and only the middle section is spacious and huge. Ambush some troops here, 1,000 kills 10,000, there is no problem at all, it's easy. Are you sure they will come from here? If they don't take this path, it will be a waste of arrangement. Fighting Wolf said behind him. Don't worry, they will definitely go. There is no way faster than here. Imares hasn't waited to clean up his name. And if he receives the news that the Daming City is rebelling again, he will definitely not let go of this good time to attack, he will definitely speed up the march. If you want to speed up, this road is the best choice. Seeing the gleaming light and strong confidence in Urana's eyes, Dolang nodded and said nothing. Didn't make Urana wait long for them. 3 hours later. The sound of marching footsteps and the neighing of war horses were heard in the distance. Coming. Urana and Fight Wolf looked at each other, and someone immediately passed the news to Ieyasu to prepare him and his soldiers. Dekong V, I am here, let me see what you are fighting against me now. In the setting sun, Huimorazi's smile looked particularly ferocious. In front of him is the 60,000 army of Admiral Army. Big brother, what's going on your side? Is there no hope anymore? Behind Wikun's, Dekong Haoyu's eyes flashed with anxiety from time to time. Since King Dekong VI communicated with him for the last time a few days ago, there has been no news. But now, news of the turmoil in the Daming city came. Moreover, Wikun's army is less than 50 miles away from the famous city. It can be said to be at stake. Stop. At this moment, the Admiral Army's shout came and the whole team stopped immediately. Facing this scene, the hidden Urana and others couldn't help but change their expressions. Has it been discovered? Urana muttered in her heart. What's wrong? What happened? Why stop? Go, and ask why that guy suddenly stopped advancing. Is it to delay the time for me to pacify Damingcheng? Huimuraze was also very dissatisfied with the sudden stop of the Admiral Army. Someone immediately went to the front of the army to ask for the specific reason. Of course, the tone was quite bad. The terrain here is dangerous, but it is the best place for an ambush. If you don't explore, you will pass the old man without worry. Your adults don't want to die, but the old man wants to die. The Admiral Army looked at the messenger sent by Huimuraze with a very unkind expression, and said, Why are you still standing here? Don't hurry up and go back to life. The person he saw was still standing in front of him, and the Admiral Army yelled again unkindly. As the most powerful general of the Moon Kingdom, the people under Kimuraze were afraid, but he was not afraid. Not a ninja will definitely be able to beat civilian soldiers. If the civilian soldiers have good equipment and weapons, the ninja who can still fight is defeated and flees. Cut. Because the main force to pacify the Daming city is the Admiral Army. Therefore, although this person was very upset by being scolded, he still went back to his life obediently. This canyon is prone to ambush. When Huimuraze listened to the reason why the Admiral Army stopped advancing, Huimuraze frowned and said contemptuously, Ambush. Dekong V has this ability. But to be on the safe side, I might as well check it out. Go to a few people to see if there are any ambushes around here. With an order from Huimuraze, someone came to investigate immediately. Seeing this scene, Dulong and others couldn't help but change their expressions. Ieyasu said anxiously, What should we do? If we are probed by them, we will definitely be discovered. Then our arrangement will not fall short. This Admiral Army, I didn't expect him to be the last bad thing. It's better to start acting now, so that at least Megumizawa can be caught off guard. With the little princess in hand, the Admiral Army can also be our aid. Jinghong, what's your opinion? If it were in the old days, Fighting Wolf would definitely agree immediately. But now, he wants to hear Urana's opinion. Maybe he has a better way. I approve of attacking. If you stop constantly, you will suffer the chaos. Urana took a deep breath and said, I'm not a real planner after all, I haven't counted this far. Shalwa, get ready, I'm going to see your dad. Your Excellency Ieyasu, get ready to go. Your task is to cut off Wikun's back road, the bridge called the Lost Bridge. When the words were over, Urana, who was there, rushed to the Admiral Army holding the little princess. But Fighting Wolf and the others went in the direction of Huimuraze, covering each other. Lightning-style thunder dragon roars. It wasn't until his team was attacked that Huimuraze's expression changed drastically. There was an attack, how could it be possible? But the facts did not give him a chance to react at all, and a series of terrifying lightning styles came one after another. A group of guards around him quickly attacked and defended his boss. Protect Huimurasawa-sama. Never let him suffer any harm. All of Huimuraze's guards shouted so frantically. And just not far from them, the Admiral Army naturally saw this scene. Admiral Army, hurry up and support. A green-haired ninja who was sent by Imaraze to monitor the Admiral army couldn't help but change his face and said to him. Puff. But the next moment, his neck was cut open, and a young figure with a mask appeared in front of the Admiral army. The surrounding Admiral guards were surprised at this scene, and when they were about to make a move, they listened to this humanity. Hold on. Admiral army, look at who this is. The visitor handed out the person he was holding in his arms and said. The Admiral army couldn't help but look around, only to see a little girl who looked a bit like him, like a little girl in the porcelain doll class, was happily about to pounce on him. Little flower, why are you here? The Admiral army was suddenly overjoyed, and then the eyes that looked at Urana suddenly sharpened, and said, Who are you, what do you want, and what do you want to threaten me with a little flower? Hearing this, Urana couldn't help laughing. The Admiral army need not be so vigilant, I am not an enemy. My code name is Jinghong, a member of the Cloud Shinobi Village assassination team, hired by the name Dekong V to eradicate Huimuraze. I'm here now to unite with the Admiral army to eliminate this scourge. I heard that the Admiral army has been threatened by Huimuraze's daughter's life and has to obey him. This time the troop dispatch is also an agreement with Huimuraze to use your daughter's personal freedom for you to dispatch a troop. However, please don't worry about the Admiral army, Huimuraze's men have never touched your daughter at home. Successfully caught your daughter is also a rumor that I let go, the purpose is to bring him here. Here, I brought you your daughter. If you don't believe me, you can check the authenticity. I just hope you make the right choice after you are sure that this is your daughter. After all, Urana loosened her bondage to the little princess. She immediately jumped to the Admiral army and yelled sweetly, Daddy. Admiral army, be careful. At this scene, the surrounding guards were shocked. There is no better chance of assassination than this. If this is the enemy, it can definitely hit with one blow, threatening the life of the Admiral army. They immediately stopped in front of the Admiral army and arrested the little princess. The Admiral army did not stop this, because these people did the right thing. Uncle Akita, let me go, I want Daddy to hug. Being picked up, the little princess looked very unhappy, and immediately yelled in dissatisfaction. And her yelling made the guard who was already wary on his face suddenly surprised, and asked in disbelief, Are you really Shalwa? Ah, Uncle Akita, of course Xiaohuahua is real. Upon hearing this, the person named Uncle Akita immediately rolled up the sleeves of Xiaohuahua. When I saw a petal-shaped birthmark on it, my eyes widened, and he said, It's really a little princess. What, really? Hearing that, several other guards and the Admiral army also leaned in immediately. Seeing the birthmark that could not be faked, a few people immediately believed, and said, Little princess, it's really you. Of course it is true, Uncle Lu Yuan, how can Xiao Wawa be fake? In response, the little princess pouted very dissatisfied. Looking at the little Byakugan she was turning over, these people believed a little more. Only the real little princess would make such a set of actions. The Admiral army also confirmed that this is his daughter, Demu Shalwa. Not some assassin. The birthmark was only known to him and the guards, and could not be forged. Daddy, Xiao Wawa misses you so much. The little princess, who had no obstacles, finally rushed into her father's arms and spoiled her. Good, good. The Admiral army caressed the little princess lovingly, where there was the slightest fierceness just now. Then, he looked at Urana, and after a glance at him, he immediately ordered, Notify the whole army and attack Imurazawa. Yes, the person called Akita Uncle immediately responded and went to deliver the order. In that case, don't disturb the Admiral army, goodbye. After that, he rushed towards the cliff, and then went straight to Wikun's. What exactly is going on? Huimuraze is quite dazed now. Didn't he say that Cloud Shinobi just arrived at the Daimyo city? Didn't it mean that Daming City is still in turmoil? Where did the man who ambushed him come from? Falling from the sky. Of course you were fooled, Imuraze. At this time, a joking voice sounded from behind Huimuraze. Who? Come out. Hearing this voice, Huimuraze shouted violently. Then, the Urana who had seen it swished in front of him. Who are you? What did you mean by that? The Urana who had seen him appeared in front of him, and Kimurazawa asked immediately. It means literally, you will fall to this point, can there be any other explanation besides you being deceived? Urana shrugged and said, I am embarrassed to tell you that the news you received was actually forged by me. The purpose is to confuse you so that you can't control the real facts. And now it seems that although my plan is not perfect, you don't seem to be so smart. You were fooled by me until now. After hearing this, Urana's teammate immediately ridiculed. Ha ha ha, that's too right. He is more than unwise, he is a complete fool, fooled by you till now. He really treats himself as a human being. In front of us, he is not a fart. These words made Huimorazi's whole face gloomy. Gluck. His fist squeezed straight, and he asked in a low voice, my exploration troops can conduct inspections 3 miles away, how did you find them? Do you have Byakugan? Hearing what he said, Urana smiled and jokingly said, is it 3 miles away? It makes you so proud. No way, do people really think that the detection distance in Sanli is very far? Seeing the appearance of Urana, Huimorazi's face suddenly became more gloomy, and then asked, in other words, the news that the little princess was arrested is also fake. Since you are here, he should be reunited with Admiral Army now. Urana raised her brows when she heard this, and said, of course it's fake. But there is one thing you said wrong, the little princess is now in Damingchang, not here. Okay, very good, you are the first person who can make me suffer so much. Huimuraze was already full of murderous intent. He looked at Urana and said awe-inspiringly, kill him for me, I'm going to chop off his head and use it as a wine glass. I want him to understand the consequences of provoking me alone. When the words fell, a group of people rushed towards Urana. Boy, die, I regret coming here alone. It's too late for your companion to save you. This group of people are not weak, murderous, and they are not easy to deal with. Be careful, Jinghong, get away quickly. That's not an enemy you can deal with alone. Hold on, we will support you. When Urana's companions saw this, they couldn't help but change their expressions and secretly scolded Urana for impulsiveness. But, regret, need support, Urana showed her signature smile upon hearing the words, if I dare to come here, how can I come to die? Flash. When the words fell, a cold light flashed, and Urana had completely disappeared in place. When he reappeared, he was already less than 50 meters away from Huimuraze. He grinned at Huimuraze. This smile made Huimoraze's scalp numb. Puff puff. The group of people behind Urana who saw him suddenly had long slits in his body. Then, he fell directly to the ground and was directly dismembered. Hiss. Seeing this scene, Huimuraze couldn't help but shrink his pupils, feeling cold all over. Good. When the other assassination team members saw this scene, they couldn't help shouting in applause. They were all surprised, Urana's strength is too strong. There were quite a few special Jonin-level enemies inside, and they were solved by Urana in an instant. This is too powerful, what a great swordsmanship. At this time, the swordsman next to Imaraze said solemnly, Mr. Kenshin, are you sure to kill him? Hearing what the swordsman said, Imaraze asked immediately. 40 or 6 wins and losses, his swordsmanship is very strong, even I might lose. The swordsman said so, his expression was quite solemn. His words made Huimoraze's heart sink to the bottom. This swordsman is the strongest existence in his team, even he has no confidence, how could this Urana be so strong? The military division has rebelled. Quickly stop them, the military division has rebelled. At this moment, Huimoraze's team was shocked again. It is the ninja troop under Huimuraze. Huimuraze didn't dare to look away, just looked at Urana, and said, good calculation, very good. Boom boom boom. At this moment, a sound of war horses stepping on the ground came. Someone who heard it exclaimed, the Admiral Army has also rebelled, and he is attacking us. It's Huimoraze's 5,000 private armed forces. Then, there was a scream of exclamation, and the sound of war horses neighing. Hateful. Huimoraze's heart was bleeding, his fist squeezed louder, and the blue veins on his forehead kept violent. Aren't you going? Then I will go. Megumizawa, who saw him, stood still, but Urana rushed towards him again. Don't try to succeed. Don't be arrogant, kid. I won't let you hurt Master Huimuraze. Immediately a group of people rushed towards Urana and blocked his way. Lightning-style emotion wave. No one saw Urana Jayan, as if he was covered in thunder and lightning, he smashed into everyone. What? Suddenly, a group of people screamed, and the group of people they saw were wrapped in thunder and lightning, and they were continuously hurt. Then, Urana whizzed forward, and all these people fell under his sword. Swallowtail cut. But at this moment, an extremely cold voice came from Urana's ear. The swordsman I saw was holding a long sword, and he was about to slash through Urana's waist. Urana couldn't help but burst into flames, but he was defensive against this swordsman, so he retreated in time. You guy, die. But behind him, there was another voice from Imara's. I saw an astonishing thunder and lightning flashing with his right hand, and he shouted, lightning-style thunder blade slash. It pierced Urana's chest directly, and wanted to kill him directly. Lightning-style thunder pillar wall. Even in a hurry, Urana still created a defensive block in front of him. Puff! The wall of the thunder pillar was broken through forcefully, but Huimure's was immediately attacked by the autonomous lightning on the wall of the thunder pillar, and he could only retreat unwillingly. If you want to retire, how can it be so easy? At this scene, Urana's hands flickered, and the aura in her body continued to increase. I won't let you succeed. Behind him, the swordsman shouted when he saw it. You can stop it, then you can give it a try. Lightning-style thunder formation. Urana shouted in a deep voice, pointing away. In the next instant, the sky suddenly brightened and thunder rolled. The thunder of 2 buckets of thick thunder hit Huimure's and the swordsman to crash down. Hiss. Facing this thunder, the swordsman couldn't help being cold all over, his body tightened, and he stepped back without thinking. The same is true for Huimure's, with a frightened face, whispering something like, I don't want to die, block me. Guru. The scene that Urana's teammates saw was stunned. What's more, the eyes are round. Is this the strength of Jinghong? Okay, so strong. With such a strength, would you be thrown into our assassination team by Master Hokage? They were speechless in surprise, and their hearts rolled like waves. Of course, he is a person who participated in Erway's suppression. How could he not have this strength? At this time, Fight Wolf said coldly, his strength is not inferior to me, don't treat him as an ordinary rookie. This kind of person, did we ever try to bully him? Our fate is really big, haha. After listening to the words of Fighting Wolf, all the assassination team members thought so gratefully in their hearts. Boom! After the terrifying thunder fell on the earth, it was like a blow from an angry god. The whole earth trembled and was exploded into a huge crater. The surrounding ninjas were blown away by a large group of people. Originally, this should be the end of an attack. But, look, that guy Jinghong actually attacked again. The assassination team pointed at Urana, who turned into phantoms and rushed to the wandering ninjas who were blown out, exclaimed. Nani. After hearing this, everyone couldn't help but look at it again in surprise. The Urana that I saw was like Shinigami, the phantom avatar, and the long sword flicked from the wandering ninjas like a cold light. Okay, so elegant. I don't know who sighed like this, and it was immediately recognized by many people. Isn't it right, 1 sword per person, like a leaping spirit. With blood splashing all over the sky, against the background of the setting sun, he looked like a killer who came out of hell, which made people shudder. But his smooth and sharp movements couldn't help attracting everyone's attention. The entire process lasted only a dozen seconds, but everyone around it felt as long as many years had passed. This feels so wonderful. And when everything was over, Urana stood alone, the setting sun was like blood, and he was covered with blood. Yes, at this moment, there was a voice of unwillingness not far from Urana. When everyone looked at it, Huimure's, who saw him, reluctantly stood up in embarrassment. The right arm hangs limply, the whole body is bloody, the flesh is ulcerated, and the breath is unstoppable. Not bad, you can survive the thunder formation again, Huimure's, you still have some strength. Upon seeing this scene, Urana smiled. Then he disappeared in place again. Huimure's suddenly burst into flames all over his body. He knew that Urana's goal was definitely him. Base. But at the moment Urana appeared and wielded the knife, another knife stood in front of him and rescued Huimure's. It's the swordsman with the name, Janshin. Mr. Huimure's treats me not badly after all, and he won't let you take his life. Mr. Imorizawa, I might have to say sorry to you. Janshin retreated Urana and said, this may be the last time I will guard you. Take care. After speaking, he rushed straight to Urana and shouted, shannying. The man disappeared, but the sharp sword intent made Urana's body tight. Hearing this, Huimure's turned and fled without saying a word. Where there is life, there is hope. He can't die. He doesn't want to die either. Don't even think about running, I'm Mure's thief. But in the field, some people really want Huimure's life. The man named Dekong Haoyu rushed towards Huimure's with a team of white cloth straps on his arms. And the Admiral Army team also turned into a torrent of steel and stopped in front of him. Feiyan arrow, shoot, someone in the army shouted. Explode arrows, shoot. Dekong Haoyu also shouted loudly, attacking on both sides. Swish swish. Suddenly, a rain of arrows poured down towards Huimure's. This battle may be Urana, fighting the wolf will have a numb scalp. Even if they are strong, they are still flesh and blood after all. If there is such an oversight, it will definitely be life-threatening. Ninjas are not omnipotent after all. Poor Wei Murazawa, the dignified underground boss of the Moon Country, the domineering dictator, was so stabbed into a hedgehog, he couldn't catch his eyes. Boss Huimure's is dead, let's leave. Retreat, there is no need to work hard anymore. After seeing the death of Huimure's, a group of wandering ninjas immediately scattered around. I don't plan to continue fighting with Urana and the others. How can it be? Master Huimure's was actually defeated, and he fell straight on the spot. The scene that Wikun's armed people saw was full of disbelief. Panic, and confusion, various expressions appeared on their faces. We flee too. We have no chance of winning. Then, without knowing who shouted, a group of people immediately dispersed and fled. Hooray! How can this group of chaotic forces escape? If they escape, Moon Country still doesn't know how long it will be chaotic. Chasing. Seeing this scene, the order of the Admiral Army arrived again. Conical formation, kill. Long snake formation, trap them. Hedgehog formation, let's go. The sight of the 60,000 troops marching together is spectacular, just as powerful as the roar of the gods and the reversal of mountains and rivers. Urana immediately stepped aside. He didn't want to be hit by the warhorse and the torrent of steel. It's amazing, Admiral Army. The Admiral Army that Urana saw was sitting at the headquarters of the Corps. His eyes were calm, and he gave orders indifferently, and he couldn't help but admire. Everyone, please chase down those wandering ninjas, don't let them escape. Their existence is very harmful to my Moon Country. Not far away, Ieyasu's anxious voice came. Allah Allah, it seems that a killing is inevitable. After hearing these words, Urana couldn't help but sighed when Duwal gave a follow-up gesture. Jinghong, you are very perceptive, report their position. Fighting Wolf looked at the wandering ninja who was about to disappear from sight and dispersed, and said to Urana. 12 people at 1 o'clock, 33 people at 4 o'clock, and 56 people at 8 o'clock. 9 people at 10 o'clock, 22 people at 11 o'clock. Captain, leave it to me at 8 o'clock. After speaking, he whizzed and turned into a phantom chasing away. Leave 2 guards, and the rest will be in teams of 2, and immediately pursue them as Jinghong said. After speaking, he rushed to the 4 o'clock direction with 1 team member, and the others immediately dispersed. Hurry up, hurry up. San, I want to catch us, don't dream. Our strength does not go to you, but in terms of escapability, don't want to compare with us, Cloud Shinobi. In the direction Urana was pursuing, a group of wandering ninjas said. Hee, isn't it? This is really a good survivability. At this moment, a chuckle came from behind them, making them suddenly horrified. Who? They all stopped with a violent shout, and looked forward. In front of them, Urana smiled and said, of course it is the one who killed you. So, are you ready, everyone? Without waiting for any answer from these people, Urana Kayan, who met, said, water-style mist shinobi technique. A thick fog immediately enveloped all these people. How is it possible? You are obviously Wu Ren. A wandering ninja didn't finish speaking, and suddenly fell down with a scream. The ninjas around him were shocked when they heard the sound, and quickly dispersed towards the surroundings, all at the same time. Jayan. Wind-style 1,000 faces. Fire-style flame bomb. Earth-style Dailong gun. Lightning-style. All kinds of bumps suddenly appeared in the fog, which was quite intense. A triumphant voice came from a wandering ninja. The mist shinobi technique can only be useful when we just got the technique. Bring it open for us, even this kind of low-level ninjutsu wants to block our way, dream about you. You who have no place to stay, how do you fight with us? Goodbye, kid, don't think you can fight all of us alone. After all, these people rushed in different directions, wanting to rush out of the scope of this mist shinobi technique. The fog is too thick, the visibility is not more than half a meter, they don't want to fight in this fog. They didn't see that outside of this mist shinobi technique, Urana was smiling expectantly. Bass. Puff. Within a few seconds, there was the sound of gold and iron bumping, and everyone seemed to be blocked by their opponents. Urana spoke again, and the voice came slowly into the mist, illusory. It's really strong, everyone. But it's not that easy to leave. I'm on it. Listening to what Urana said, those wandering ninjas immediately followed the sound of ninjutsu attacks and left. Fire-style flame bomb. Lightning-style razor. Boy, I want to see if you can. Before someone finished speaking, they saw a huge fireball hit in front of them. He immediately retreated in shock, and then scolded, don't use ninjutsu indiscriminately, it's labor and capital, do you want to kill me? Stop it, it's me, not the kid, let's get rid of Razor. I was attacked by you, did you deliberately? Straight thief, who are you talking about, are you really bullying as an old lady? Look at the trick. Quote. In the mist, the sound of cursing from this group of people came, and it became more and more intense. Hey, guys, since there is a quarrel, then I'm not welcome. As he said, Urana, who was on the periphery of mist shinobi technique, immediately swung a long knife and made the sound of a knife, which spread into the mist. Hiss. Everyone in the mist couldn't help but burst into flames, and they quickly attacked in the direction of the sound they heard. Puff. What? Hey. Suddenly, a scream came. At this time, Urana also screamed out, I didn't expect you to be so powerful, you were seriously injured. It seems that I have to retreat quickly, how could I die in the hands of your trash? Hearing this, everyone in the mist was overjoyed, and then furious, little devil, I want to escape after being seriously injured, no way. They all thought their injuries came from Urana. Because they really only heard the voice of Urana alone. Therefore, they subconsciously thought that Urana was not far from them. Therefore, each attacked in the direction that they heard, without any mercy. So, the final result is, what? Accompanied by lightning, flames, wind blades, and earth spears, this group of wandering ninjas are screaming. All were hit by the tricks of their teammates and suffered heavy casualties. When the fog dissipated, there were 12 people, not many of them. Or they were all scarlet wounds, or burned beyond recognition, or scorched, or pierced and hung on by earth guns. Actually, let us kill each other. How, possibly, how did you do it? Let us only hear your voice, and the rest of the people's, nothing. You, Cloud Shinobi. No, you, or White. In the end, the man pointed at Urana with horror on his face, and Urana's throat was sealed with a sword before he finished speaking. The rest of them naturally died quickly under the sword of Urana. He wiped the long sword and said, is it difficult to hear my voice alone? It can't be done by distorting the sound to varying degrees. Then, after disposing of the bodies of these people, he returned. The rest of the water body should be about to end the battle too. It's a pity that my strength is not strong enough. The strengthened water body can only play a quarter of the strength of the deity. However, if you use the mist shinobi technique with all your strength, plus the strategy just now, you should be able to kill a lot. It's normal to leave a few, but he tried his best anyway, isn't it? However, I really don't have a sense to use water style after I have used lightning style. To be honest, compared to lightning style, water style makes Urana more accustomed. But it's just a matter of habit. Urana slowly walked towards the meeting point, waiting for the return of water by the way. When he arrived at the meeting place, the original 18-person team was now only 4 people away. How is it, Jinghong, how many did you kill? Looking at Urana returning, Fight Wolf asked about the progress. Run 1 or 2, these people are very cunning. Urana shrugged and handed a scroll with some blood to Fight Wolf. You only ran 1 or 2 when you were chasing more than 30 targets by yourself. You are indeed a person approved by Tianxin. Jinghong, I just want to get this strength. Fighting Wolf took the scroll to check the contents, and suddenly couldn't help but praise. Awesome, are you really assassinated for the first time? If you don't say anything, I think you were a professional assassin. Yeah, if 30 or so people let us chase, it would be an unimaginable good result to be able to kill more than 20. You only ran away 1 or 2, and as expected, people are more popular than others. Didn't they run separately? But in this case, then your strength is too strong. The strength of these people is not weak, and it is quite difficult to deal with it. It depends on how strong you are and how strong you are. The rest of the assassination team also exclaimed with envy. Hee, maybe I was lucky, they fell into a small canyon by themselves, and I made dumplings. Urana lied solemnly, her face was not red and her heart beat. Not far from them, Ie Kong and the Demu Admiral army were talking. There are special stewards and fighting wolves that they have approved to kill the number of wandering ninjas. After waiting another half an hour, all the assassination team members assembled. In the end, there were only 9 wandering ninjas who ran away, and this number was not a concern. In this extermination operation, there is one final finishing touch left, that is, destroying Wikun's old nest. And the teams participating in this extermination battle include the 60,000 troops of the Tokumu Admiral Army, the thousands of guards led by Ieyasu, and the 18 of them in Fighting Wolf. Set off. With a high-pitched voice, the group headed towards Matsuzaka town mightily. Beat the bad guys, hee, it's so fun. The little Princess Demu Shalwa rides on the neck of Admirals Demu Guangchuan, her face flushed with excitement. Big brother, take Xiaohuahua to fight the bad guys. Xiaohua yelled to Urana, who was advancing not far in front of her. Urana didn't return her. It's too dangerous to take a small fat peer to fight. Not to mention the horrible identity of this little fat man. Ooh, elder brother, don't want Xiaohuahua, I will ignore you again, huh. The Urana who I saw actually ignored her. Xiaohuahua suddenly became unhappy. But no matter how she cried, Urana still ignored her. The Admiral army was helpless about this, and even breathed a sigh of relief. He was afraid that Urana would agree directly. In that case, things will become even more troublesome for 100 years. Matsuzaka town. The news of Huimorizi's defeat and death has not yet reached here. Therefore, here is still the same as when Wikun's was there, and various criminal actions are emerging one after another. The evil people who have developed presumptuously here may not have imagined that one day a catastrophe will be imminent. When I saw the 60,000 army encircling the entrances and exits of the entire Matsuzaka town, and it was their military commander Dekong Haoyu personally commanding it. Their heads can't turn around. What situation is this? Infighting. Someone tried to get close to Dekong Haoyu, and wanted to ask what's the situation. But the only one who answered him was a rain of arrows. Until this moment, the evil forces in Matsuzaka town knew of the panic. But there are still people who want to give up the fox's pretense. Aren't you afraid of Master Huimorizi's revenge? Do you know where Matsuzaka town is? But facing their threat, the 60,000 army couldn't help laughing at the same time. Dekong Haoyu smiled contemptuously and said, if you are talking about Wikun's, then I'm really sorry, he is already dead. With that said, he ordered someone to hold Huimorizi's body up for public display. Wow, everyone in Matsuzaka town couldn't help feeling like a bolt from the blue when they saw Wikun's battered corpse. Then everyone panicked all of a sudden, and fled hurriedly, panicking. Just kidding, the backstage sheltering them from the wind and rain are all dead, so why don't they run away and wait for death? But it is impossible to escape. Wikun still did not escape with so much power, and with the remnants of Matsuzaka town, it was not enough to see. They didn't really need Fighting Wolf to take action, so the team led by Jiakong and Dekong Haoyu was basically stabilized. And the changes here immediately spread to the entire Moon Kingdom through some channels. Suddenly, the officials who colluded with Huimorizi panicked. 6 gods have no masters, their faces are like ashes and so on. But they can't escape. In Wikun's base camp, there is a book that records the crimes of all of them. And the person who recorded all this was not someone else, but Dekong Haoyu, who once existed as a military teacher. So, the peace of the Moon Kingdom is only the last process. Dekong Haoyu looked at Demu Guangchuan, Ieyasu, and Dulong and other humanities with a comfortable face. Then, everyone guy returned. The big names who had already received good news naturally went out of the city to welcome their heroes to return. The task has been completed, I will return when I wait. After Fighting Wolf returned to the city, he proposed to retire. When King Dekong VI repeatedly failed to stay, he could only agree to their request from Fighting Wolf. Captain, why don't you stay, at least you can eat a meal. As for Fighting Wolf to leave like this, some team members were quite puzzled. Stay to see some of their internal stolen goods, and then kill each other. Hearing this, Do Lang cast a cold glance at the man and asked. Cannibalism, Captain, where do you start with this? No, they will kill each other. After listening to Fighting Wolf's answer, some people couldn't help showing a suspicious look. Urana spoke in agreement and said, since ancient times, there have been more birds, good bows, and bridges. The captain's decision is very wise. You ask me what do you mean by Asuka's good bow? You don't need to know this, you just need to know that the captain is doing the right thing. Stay longer, we will be involved in their internal struggles in the Moon Kingdom. At that time, it will be really hard to get out. After finishing the task we will quit immediately, which is the best choice. One is the prestigious Admiral Army holding a large army of 60,000 in hand, an ambitious but relatively small Kun Lord. It is impossible for them to be safe, let alone Dekong V now has a courtier to help. Power is ruthless, and it is common for father and son to mutilate, let alone between the daimyo and the Admiral Army. Between them, there can be only one victor in the end, the so-called winners and losers are like this. After listening to Urana's words, Fighting Wolf gave him an approving look. Then he said with emotion, if you all have this vision, then I can really retire with peace of mind. But at the moment, it seems that I have to continue to take you with me. Lest you are deceived and help others count the money. The rest of the people couldn't help but bow their heads in shame. When they looked at Urana, there was a bit of envy and jealousy in their eyes. Why is he always outstanding? Is he really that good? 3 days later, everyone returned to Cloud Shinobi Village. Raikage office. This Urana is really a beautiful jade, no matter where it is placed, it will shine. It would be great if it weren't for that. His existence will definitely be the mainstay of my Cloud Shinobi Village. After watching the report of Fighting Wolf's mission, 4th Raikage said with regret. As for Raikage's feelings, Fighting Wolf will not ask more. He does what Raikage asks him to do. On the other side, Urana is here. The days of the assassination team seem to be good too. The danger is a bit more dangerous, but at least I don't need to be on duty, and there is a holiday. This gives me a lot of opportunities to become stronger. Soaking in the bathtub, Urana thought so beautifully. In addition to the holiday, the assassination team is also very rewarded. Just like this mission, he got 600,000 yen. Enough for him to go away for a while. Urana's life is monotonous and fulfilling. Except for tasks, he spends most of his time practicing. No matter who comes to visit, basically you will never see others at home. Either in one training ground, or another training ground. His lifestyle is really nothing like what he should have at his age. Therefore, many people have considerable doubts about this, and they have asked him why he is so obsessed with cultivation. Does he want to become stronger? Urana's answer is the same every time, and the tone is quite firm, yes, I want to be stronger. In a blink of an eye, 3 months passed. In 3 months, Urana performed more than 20 tasks, both large and small. Most of these tasks are quite dangerous. Either it is pursuing dangerous rebels, or destroying evil forces, or destroying certain turbulent forces. He even performed some tasks dealing with dangerous creatures. Most of these dangerous creatures were created because of the scientific research of some people. The strength is quite strong, not the level that ordinary Jonin can handle. But no matter how dangerous the task is, Urana's performance is always outstanding. It has played the role of setting the world in one fell swoop many times, and has faintly become the deputy captain in the eyes of everyone. How fast, it's been 4 months since I came to Cloud Shinobi Village. On this day, Urana rarely did not practice, but wandered around the village. After practicing, relax one by one. You can't always practice. No, when it's time to relax, you still have to relax. Yo, Kira, it's so rare, you didn't practice today. Just as Urana was enjoying the beautiful scenery of Cloud Shinobi Village, a voice suddenly came from behind him. Urana turned around and saw who it was if it wasn't Darui. I should relax, my breath has become a lot stronger. Urana smiled. After 3 months of absence, Darui has become stronger again. Hehe, you are not the same, the breath is terrifying. Darui smiled. No way, I dare not stop with you chasing after you. Urana shrugged, then said, drink 2 glasses together. Then I'm not welcome. Hearing this, Darui said without refusal at all. In the tavern, the recent task is not that difficult, right? I heard Master Hokage say that you captured an S-rank traitor by yourself a while ago. It's really hidden, I didn't expect you to be so strong. After sitting down, Darui looked at Urana and said enviously. It's a fluke, he happened to be seriously injured and was met by me alone, so he was captured. It's not really capable, Urana said quite modestly. You are as humble as always categorizing your record as good luck. Others don't know you, can I still not know? Darui looked at him earnestly and said, human, how can you always have such good luck? Without strength to rely on, no matter how lucky it is useless. Compare with me again. I recently developed a new skill that will never let you down. Listening to Darui's words, Urana couldn't help squinting her eyes slightly, and said in her heart, new skill. Could it be Lan done? However, I'm afraid his purpose is not just so simple. Maybe there is a shadow of Hokage behind this. A new skill, I am looking forward to it. Urana had a drink with Darui and said with a smile. When you are the original you won't be so happy, you really have become better to deal with. Darui seemed a little surprised by Urana's quick promise, and then excited. It can be said that the younger generation of Cloud Shinobi Village has no people who don't want to challenge Urana. It's just that most people don't catch the opportunity, or the strength is not enough. Only Darui has this strength and ability. After Urana agreed to the competition, Darui suddenly lost the idea of continuing to drink, and he couldn't sit still. Some training ground. Be prepared, I don't think this new skill of mine will let you down. Darui said with great excitement. Come on, I'm looking forward to it. Urana drew the sword from her waist and said. Then I'm welcome. Lightning-style emotion wave. Darui quickly sealed the seal and released a fierce thunder and lightning. Urana immediately stepped back and said, this level of lightning style has no effect on me. I didn't expect this kind of attack to have an effect on you. All I want is to delay a little time. Darui grinned and said, illusory magic Nalu C technique. Urana felt a strong wave attacking him. Delaying time to use illusion. But I'm afraid this is not his goal. He immediately closed his eyes and agitated chakra, minimizing the effect of illusion on him. At the same time, Jaeyin released the perception array, so that closing the eyes would not have any effect. Yunliu 3 Sun Moon Slash. Sure enough, the moment after Urana closed her eyes, Darui's attack had already deceived her. The 3 Darus slashed towards Urana in a siege. The same attack has no effect on me, Darui, you shouldn't be ignorant of this. Facing the 3 Darui figures who were surrounded at the same time, Urana flew out of shock and believed. The cold light that I saw flashed, one was forced to withdraw, and the other 2 cracked and were about to disperse. But, how could I use the same trick against you, Kira? The Urana who saw him opened his eyes, and Darui smiled suddenly and shouted, lightning-style Lei Guangju. The 2 Darus who had spread out suddenly turned into extremely bright thunder and lightning, emitting extremely dazzling light. In addition, there was an amazing thunder and lightning coming towards Urana, completely caught off guard. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Urana was also taken aback, and when the lightning was about to come, she was about to step back. But Darui's voice came over again, saying, you won't succeed, Urana. Lan done laser circus. From Darui's hand, a beam of light flew out, wrapping Urana in like a finger, and he was about to be bound. But Urana absolutely didn't want to be restrained. Just looking at the fierce aura emanating from the bunch, he knew that this thing was very powerful. 6-pillar flame array. It's too late for the ninjutsu seal, so I have to use the enchantment. But even the enchantment technique is quite a hasty one. Zitsa. The moment Urana was protected by the enchantment, the bundle also bound the enchantment tightly. There was thunder and lightning that made the scalp numb, and it was very powerful. It's really dangerous, I almost lost. In the enchantment, Urana looked at Darui with a regretful look in the distance, and said, "You really have become stronger. I didn't expect that. I tried my best and still couldn't help you. What a terrible guy. But it's not over yet, it's long and long." Darui holds both palms together, increasing chakra output. The bunch that I saw was actually starting to grow rapidly, and it was about to invade from the top of the barrier, planning to catch a turtle in the Urana urn. The idea is good, but it's a pity that it won't let you succeed. Urana's heart moved, and the sky above the barrier was immediately sealed. Next it's my turn. Urana continued to output chakra, the earth trembling slightly with the vigorous breath. The enchantment that I saw was constantly growing, and the flames above the enchantment became extremely hot, turning from scarlet red to white. Ba ba ba. An astonishing thing happened. This thunder and lightning cluster was actually burned by flames. Darui couldn't help being surprised. What a terrifying chakra, how much stronger this guy has become during this time, it's unfathomable. Darui, give it up, you have no chance of winning if you continue to fight. Urana said, speaking fairly easily. No, how can a man easily fail? Darui clenched his teeth and persisted, even if the sweat was all on his forehead, he still did not give up. That's all, if that's the case, then use absolute strength to make you understand. Upon seeing this scene, Urana sighed, and then unexpectedly lifted the barrier, but his people had disappeared in place. Where? Darui suddenly looked around vigilantly to prevent a sudden attack by Urana. Here, Urana's voice rang in front of Darui. In the next moment, Urana whizzed out, with a punch that was powerful. It's useless, I reacted. Darui yelled violently, and while covering his head with his two-handed armguards, he drew back. Response: don't talk too early, Darui. But Urana couldn't help laughing when he heard what he said. Darui had an ominous premonition when he heard this. I saw Urana holding the Jayan posture with both hands, and pointed to him, Binlu Karma Curse. Hearing what Urana said, Darui yelled badly. But there was no time to react, and a layer of fiery red spells rushed across his body. He felt that his mobility was completely blocked, and he couldn't move at all. This blocking power completely exceeded the maximum limit that his chakra burst can resist. Is his punch made specifically to impose a sealing technique on me? Careless. Darui couldn't help but scold himself for being stupid. His opponent was Urana, and he even dared to be careless. It looks like I won again, Darui. Urana hit Darui's neck with a knife and smiled. Unexpectedly, I still lost. I thought that after Landan and the improved Yunliu Sanryu slash, I would at least be tied with you. In the end, I was still wishful thinking. The gap between you and me has not narrowed at all, it has grown even bigger. You are not really fighting with me at all, I can feel that you are completely useless to show your true ability. How strong is your full strength? Regarding Darui's question, Urana shrugged and said, I often perform some dangerous tasks, and it is normal to be stronger than you. But if you say that I didn't try my best, that would be too wrong to me. I have used all the connection arts, so how can I do my best? Spare me, I've almost tried my best. Regarding Urana's bitterness, Darui just wanted to complain. You fought with me twice, and when did you do your best? It's just that our gap was not so big the last time. Urana is really a difficult opponent to surpass. I will continue to practice hard, and one day, I will surprise you too. Before leaving, Darui swore to Urana. Then come on, I will always wait for you until then. Urana smiled and left. Darui wanted to surpass him. There is still a long way to go. Raikage office. How is it, Darui, what is the outcome of the battle? Did your Landan cause any harm to him? Fourth Raikage looked at Darui who walked in and asked aloud. No harm was caused. Master Raikage, he is too strong, so powerful that I don't know how strong his true strength is. Darui said with a sad expression on his face. It seems that this guy is really amazing. There are not many people who can show you this expression. It's okay, keep going, I believe you will definitely be able to surpass him one day with your strength. Fourth Raikage patted Darui on the shoulder, encouraging. Well, I got it. After saying that, he stepped back. Kira, you really make people more and more incomprehensible. What do you want to do if you hide your strength? Fourth Raikage whispered with gloomy eyes in his eyes. On the other side, Urana's house. In 3 months, 150W strengthening point, not easy. Urana clicked on the system panel and couldn't help feeling excited. The 150W strengthening point allows him to step into cage level from Jonin's invincible state in one fell swoop. Urana. Strengthen the attributes, strength, speed, agility, energy, so that they all have the level of elite Jonin. System. The enhancement begins. This enhancement consumes a total of 60W enhancement points. Then, Urana felt as if her body had been injected with majestic energy. This feeling of fullness was so addictive. Urana could feel her cells leaping for joy and joy. After 5 minutes, this feeling of fulfillment slowly faded. Ding! The enhancement is successful. Congratulations to host for achieving the Elite Jonin Invincible achievement. I don't care about the system sounds coming in my mind. Urana clicked on the enhancement option again, and said, Enhanced Attribute, Energy, so that it has cage level. Elite Jonin Invincibility is not his end, cage level is. As long as any attribute is strengthened to cage level, Urana can have cage level strength. Of course, such a Urana ranks relatively low in strength among all the powerhouses of the same level. But even this is enough. After all, it is a real cage level powerhouse anyway. After all, most of the cage level powerhouses, only 1 or 2 of them are really up to the standard cage level. 3 standards are reached, and 3rd Hokage is also slightly inferior. 4 standards are met, invincible in the cage level domain, and the fairy Jiraiya can't do anything about it. Ding! Strengthening begins. This time you need to consume 50W strengthening points. At the moment when the words fell, a sense of bulge that had never been felt before. Urana felt that her body was undergoing some amazing changes. It seems that the meridians are being broadened, the quality of chakra is constantly being refined, and the control is constantly improving. This feeling of being able to further control one's body is so wonderful. In contrast, the body of Urana that Urana saw slowly began to seep out some yellowish viscous liquid, exuding a stench. Whether to wash the scriptures and cut the marrow, is it here again? Urana closed her eyes, quietly feeling this sense of improvement. After 10 minutes, the strong feeling slowly disappeared. Urana opened his eyes. His body was covered with oil, making him look like a savage. He then got up and went to the bathroom and sat in the bathtub, washing away the filth, but his mind was still immersed in the system. The remaining 40W enhancement points, then strengthen all the skills. For today's Urana, even if it is C-rank ninjutsu, he can still play the same as S-rank ninjutsu. After he learns S-rank ninjutsu, he doesn't know how powerful he is, but he is looking forward to it. I wonder if Susanoo can be completely overwhelmed by a water style. Or is it possible that a sky thunder can turn Shinsu Senju? Hey, it's possible. C-rank ninjutsu may be strengthened to S-rank, and S-rank ninjutsu can't be strengthened to Super S-rank and stronger for no reason. Thinking about this, he clicked on his own attribute panel. Strengthen lightning style, illusory essence technique, ceiling bound flow curse, enchantment 6-pillar flame array, perception array, swordsmanship flashing. System. The enhancement begins. This enhancement consumes a total of 6.5W enhancement points. Then, the familiar feeling came to her heart again, and Urana lay directly in the bathtub and began to cleanse the filth on her body. 20 minutes later, the reinforcement is complete. In his sight, the skill panel emerged, allowing him to clearly see the enhanced effect. Ninjutsu. Thunder Array. Second strengthening points. 10,000. Enhanced effect. Attack range increased by 2 times, power and release speed increased by 3 times, can damage tail beasts, with lightning stun effect. Strengthened grade. S. Number of enhancements. 0. Ninjutsu. Thunder Pillar Wall. Second strengthening points. 5,000. Enhanced effect. Defense power increased by 4 times, resistance to virtual dog cannon, release speed increased by 2 times. Enhanced grade. A. Number of enhancements. 0. Swordsmanship. Blink. Second strengthening points. 10,000. Enhanced effect. Speed increased by 4 times, lethality increased by 2 times, can break the 3rd form of Susanoo defense. Susanoo. Arm rib type, skeleton type, flesh and blood meridian type, upright armor type, complete body. Strengthened grade S. Number of enhancements 1. Enchantment 6 pillars of flame array. Second strengthening points 10,000. Enhanced effect. Defense power increased by 5 times, with autonomous fire attack effect, can block 8 frontal, all-tailed beast bomb except 9 tails. Strengthened grade S. Number of enhancements 1. Enchantment. Perception array. Second strengthening points 5,000. Enhanced effect. The range of perception is expanded to 10 miles, and the consumption is increased by 1.5 times. Enhanced grade A. Number of enhancements 0. Sealing technique. Bound stream karma curse. Second strengthening points 10,000. Enhanced effect. Imprisonment effect. The difficulty of breaking free is increased by 4 times, the operation speed is increased by 2 times, and the tail beast can be imprisoned. Strengthened grade S. Number of enhancements 0. Illusion. Jingani technique. Initial enhancement points 5,000. Enhanced effect. The release speed, the effect is increased by 4 times, the conventional technique cannot be removed, it can have an effect on the tail beast. Enhanced grade A. Number of enhancements 0. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.